This is a video live TV on the YouTube. Welcome to Wednesday Night Toy Talk. I got some guests. I'm gonna bring them in, and I gotta go get a delivery, and I'll show you guys what it is. So, boom, Tony, bam, Scuba, blam, Jim Largo. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. You guys know what it is.
Nice. I'll give you a topic.
Over to you, Jim.
Well, actually, Tony, I've fallen in with some bad characters, and they've totally got me hooked on the 1/6 scale Joes and Action Men. So I did a conversion lately of one of the 90s versions, put him on a new articulated body. Man, this is a slippery slope. It's like I started the year with 0 1/6 scale, and now I've got like 20 of them. I don't have I don't have any of the Palatoy guys yet, but they're on the list. So
yep,
I'm enjoying going through some of your back catalog to see what kind of goodies are out there.
There's a lot, man. There's a lot.
Yeah, your back catalog's quite the enabling tool. You're like, ooh, that. Oh, that. I mean, I'm sitting with a talking Indiana Jones, for crying out loud, because
you've got the one with the moving mouse.
Yes.
That's so creepy.
It's creepy. I was doing it to showing Leslie, and she was like, "Stop it!" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "I'm serious. Stop!" And I was like, "Okay."
That's not a happy face, Chad. Did you get your goodie?
The mail oh, there did. The box of all boxes.
So halfway through the intro, like I'm just listening to the intro, like I took off my hoodie. You know, I'm doing my. I'm getting all pumped up, and then there's boom, 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 boom on the garage, and I was like, I knew it was coming, so I'm like, just a second, you know, I'm just like yelling at the garage. No. So anyway, my train came. It's 3 boxes.
Nice.
Big. So maybe we'll get to that. How you guys doing?
Doing good, sir.
Yeah, Tony, thank you for being here with us.
Well, the live stream was set up.
Yeah, we were just hanging out.
I don't think I'll be staying for the duration, but I'll hang around for 45 minutes or something.
I appreciate you coming, even for just a little bit. It's been a while since you and I have hung out together. Yep. And I was always hoping I would get a surprise guest or two. And since Ted Darklaw has the Rona.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, Ted.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. What are you guys talking about?
That's what you get for living in Ohio, man.
You guys don't have that stuff down there, Jim?
No. We drink copious amounts of rum. That kills everything.
Yep.
So.
I dig it. I dig it.
The way to sanitize the inside.
That's it.
Scuba, I haven't seen you in a little while. How you been? How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm on
you're not going to do it now that we're live?
I'm staying on my phone. I've muted all calls, so hopefully I won't get bumped off.
Oh, man, that was funny. I was just ripping on you the whole time in Tony's comments. I'm like, tell him to get off the Netscape Navigator and tell Leslie to hang up the phone.
You've got mail.
Yeah. The Stargate out of AOL credit.
Tony, what's this about parachuting?
Are you on my Patreon or channel member?
I am a channel member, yeah.
Did you not see the community post yesterday?
Okay, yeah, that one. All right. Up there.
So I've done a video about Action Man parachutes, right? The working parachutes, right? Always wanted to do a video about it. And recently I bought a drone and I was like, well, now I want to do this parachuting video because I want to take Action Man up with a drone with one of those airdrop systems and have him do the parachute. And I bought like the top of the range drone you can get without needing a license. So it's got to be in Australia, it's got to be under 250 grams. So I bought a DJI Mini Pro 4, which is like 249 grams. So I don't need a license to fly it.
Right.
It's not, it can't lift a 12-inch Action Man figure and parachute. It doesn't quite have enough weight. So I had to do all of this testing with scales and shit like that to figure out what it could lift. It could lift a Valaverse Action Force figure in a parachute. So I've done one of my kind of traditional documentary style videos where I'm going through the history of Action Man's working parachutes,
right,
intercut with me doing a trip out to a remote landing zone and actually having Desert Rat parachute from a drone.
That's awesome.
And that video video's going live in about an hour. So it's not a premiere or anything like that. So just catch it later.
In your military career, Tony, did you ever actually have to fly or jump out of a perfectly good airplane that wasn't on fire?
Yes. Yep. There's might be a couple of photos and some footage of me actually doing military parachuting in the video.
Excellent.
Oof. Chad's like, hell no.
You know, I don't. Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. I don't like to fly, but I don't like to fly in commercial aircraft. You put me in like a C-130, a Chinook, or a Black Hawk, and I'm just
good.
I'm good. I don't know what it is. It's just something about they pull up, they unload, they reload, they go. You know, and then you hear about how like, oh yeah, this civilian airliner and the roof ripped off and sucked out a stewardess and all this stuff. And military aircraft, they strip them and they put them back together all the time.
Yep.
Tony, being in the SAS, is it kind of like our Army Rangers where you need to be qualified in like airborne, air assault, all this stuff?
Yeah, there are certain things. So I was SAS Reserve, so it's not the same as the regulars. But basically, once you pass the selection course and you are I don't know the official term. Everyone says you get badged, when you get your beret and everything.
Right.
You don't actually get Special Forces pay until you're fully qualified, which involves doing the Special Forces Signalers course. So you got to go and learn like 15 different radios and all this encryption technology and stuff like that. And the other one is your parachute course, because the Special Air Service, by the names in the title, you've got to be parachute qualified. So you only to be qualified, you've only got to do static line jumping.
Right.
Obviously, SA they do hey-ho, halo, all of that kind of stuff as well. I've never gone above 15,000 feet, but I've never had to wear oxygen, basically.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Yeah, there's a few people I know who they're Ranger qualified. That doesn't mean that they're Rangers, right? So they can wear the tab, but they don't wear what we call the scroll. So they're not part of the Ranger regiment. They're just Ranger qualified. Who they go to Ranger school. So we have this the selection process is called RASP, the Ranger Assessment Selection Process. They go to RASP, and then once they pass RASP, the implied task is that between finishing RASP and going to Ranger school is that you go air assault, airborne, right? You do all this stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't do it. And so when they go to Ranger, when they go to like the swamp phase or whatever, instead of parachuting in and then swimming, they get bussed in like a bunch of suckers. And then those are the ones that everybody picks on, and then they steal their MREs because they can't jump. They're a bunch of dirty legs,
And look like the Chad, go ahead, Jim.
Sorry. What is the deal with all of the name changes to the bases in recent years? Is there a reason for that? Is it some politically correct bull hockey or?
Yep.
It's a thing.
That's exactly what it is. They're trying to, part of the reconstruction of the nation of the Union was that after the Civil War, everyone who was on the side of the South, they were still recognized with full military honors. That was part of the reconstruction process. And now they want to get rid of everyone who had anything to do with the Civil War. So you've got Benning, so on and so forth. So yeah, they're changing the name of all these posts. I don't even know what they're calling them now, like Liberty and dumb stuff. And I don't know. It'll always be Fort Benning to me. So whatever. What were you going to say, Tony? What'd I do?
I can't remember. Oh, Chad will attest to this, right? The military's got this really good way of taking something that should be really cool and making it absolutely suck. when I talk to like civilian skydivers and stuff, people who are into sport parachuting and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, fuck that. Doing parachuting in the when you do static line jumping and you really can't, it's very difficult to control the chute. You're dropping at a very low altitude. The lowest jump I did, I want to say, was only like 400 feet. On the actual parachute, the Army parachute course.
Yep.
The heights range. You have to do a night jump. So when you do a night jump, like you can't see the ground coming up at you, so you don't know kind of when you're going to hit. You're just sort of bracing for impact.
Yeah.
You have to do 4 jumps to pass the Army parachute course. And it ranges from 1,200 feet down to 600 feet. You start off doing, just jumping with a parachute and a reserve parachute, and then you build up to jumping, with your backpack strapped to your legs, your rifle, all your gear, and then once you pass out, and then you go to an operational unit, and you have to do a parachute jump, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to carry the mortar base plate as well." It's not fun hitting the ground when you've got, all the equipment you need to survive for 2 weeks, plus a mortar base plate and a heavy machine gun and some more.
Yeah.
It's like you hit the ground pretty fucking hard. Like
Yeah.
I've always said, doing a static line parachute jump, landing on the ground, is the equivalent of like jumping out of a 2nd-story window. That's how bad it is on your knees and ankles.
Jeez.
That's why anyone who has jump wings, anyone who's airborne qualified, you go to the VA and they're automatically like, "Yup, here you go." No questions asked. They're like, "Oh, you're jump qualified? Forget it." And then if you have like the mustard stain or the star, because you jumped in combat, and they're like, 100%, you're fine.
I was 6'1" when
Tony
I joined.
used to be like, I was going to say, 2
11.
inches taller before he got his jump qual. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a thing. Like that spinal compression is a thing, especially the amount of gear that we wear all the time.
You don't have to do parachuting in the military to get that. I think just being an infantry guy who carries a lot of weight on his back, you're actually going to get a bit shorter over your career.
Oh yeah. You're wearing brain bucket, commo, ammo, water, chow, sleep system, rucksack, body armor, sappy plates, all this crap, 8-pound uniform. Yeah, but the next thing you know, you're wearing 80 pounds of shit. We got a $2 super chat from our good friend M. Vargo that says, "Look at all these awesome people. Thanks for being here, buddy."
What's up, dude?
Good to see you.
So how much of that weight in your pack was pogey bait though?
I mean, if you're like really on the job, not a lot of it. Not a lot of it.
Yeah. I like to snack.
What's pogey weight?
Pogey bait's like all your licky chewies, your snacks, Yeah. Masterson42 sends a $5 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. I'll give you a nice salute. And Jim, you started this shit. Bases should have never been named after traitors. You started it.
Well, that is a hot take. Obviously, you need to look at your American history and consider both sides of that issue.
We're not here to discuss the Civil War. I mean, we're all haters anyway, so I guess Masterson's just getting it started. Tony was getting me spun up before we went live. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to get you worked up." And I'm like, "No." And then I got stuff, and now I just
now you're like
all
flying
the
high.
all the fire left my body.
Yep. Yeah. Now you're just gonna kill the stream early so you can play with your new toy. We understand.
Yep. Pete, why are you frozen?
What?
Why are you? Okay, you're not frozen now. You're not frozen now.
Well, your audio is good. Your camera's a little bit behind, Pete, but your audio is still good. So don't worry.
Okay. Look, this is as good as it gets tonight.
I did. There were dirty traitors who were pardoned. You can't be pardoned unless you admit the crime, hence traitors. Oh, okay. Right. And then Jesse from JLS Comics is here and says, "Let the hate flow." I saw that Chronicly's here. I invited Chronically, but I don't know if he's going to come. So, why not Twitch? What do you mean, why not Twitch?
Well, that's what Chronically was saying about spamming the chat. I don't know. CDO's got a big thing about you doing Twitch. Fuck knows why.
Oh, make a Twitch account?
It's making me fucking twitch.
I don't. I don't stream on
He
Twitch.
wants to see you do some gaming in a hot tub, or I don't know.
With a sandwich.
I'll do some gaming, but I'm not going to stream it on Twitch. Hey, Tony, Cutthroat's asking, what's the highest parachute jump you have done? I believe you said it conversationally, but
I think I might have got it wrong though, because I said 50. No, like 12. I think it was 12,000. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's still high. That's still,
it looked like the vast majority of what I did was all like static line jumping. You're talking 1,200 feet on average, but as low as 400 in one instance.
I saw
when you jump 400 feet, it's enough time to exit the aircraft, have your chute deploy, check your chute, pull the cord, which drops the Bergen from your legs down onto a cord,
right?
So that you don't hit the ground with all that weight in one go, like that hits. 400 feet. You exit the aircraft, your chute deploys, you check it, you're all good. You drop your backpack, and then boom, you're on the ground.
Yep,
it's seconds.
Yeah, I saw a meme of some guy jumping out of a plane, and like you're supposed to hook up, right? Then do your checks and all that stuff, and then you walk to the door. And for some reason, it shows this guy going out the door, and the hook is coming with him. His static line is right behind him.
Whoops.
Well, I mean, you got a reserve, but still, you're gonna figure that out quick when you don't feel that jerk.
Real quick.
Masterson says the highest parachute jump I did was about 10 feet in the simulator I had to do for ejection seat qualification.
All right.
Talk to me, Goose.
Those ejection
those
ejection seats are no joke. How many pilots' careers were ended having to use those ejector seats because it screws up their back really bad.
Yeah, just ask Goose.
Well,
poor Goose.
Poor Goose.
Poor Goose. Frostbite's G.I. Joe Repro, welcome to the stream, sends an Australian $2 super chat and says, good day from Australia. I don't know. Tony, you should say that. Can you say that?
G'day from Australia, mate.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Donde El Link. Keora S. Where to? Where do you want me to send it?
Email.
Look. Anyway,
he only does email.
Yeah. I know. So, the year's about over, gentlemen, and I thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Shed a tear for old Goose. Tony, you still drinking coffee?
I had a cup of tea on the Analog Toys stream, and now I'm having a coffee on this one. That's my typical morning routine: is 2 cups of tea, then a coffee, and then no more caffeine for the day.
Nice. Oh, hey, Steve's here. Steve, look what I got, buddy. I got your boxes. They came.
Just arrived.
Well, I had coffee earlier while you guys were streaming, and now I'm having tea. So there we go. Very, very good. And
I really do think that you could fit Gwyneth Paltrow's head into a much smaller box than that.
What's in the box? So 2023, it's been kind of a busy year. Had a lot going on. But Tony, since you're probably not going to stay with us the whole time, even though I'm glad you did join us for a little bit. What would you say were some of the highlights for you of the year? Kind of a broad question.
Two of them really. There's 2 things that really stand out for me for 2023. The first of which was my second trip to Joe Fest. It was, as much as I enjoyed the first trip, there were, the first time you go on a trip anywhere overseas, you come back and you're like, oh, I would have done that a bit different. I would have done this a bit different. So the second time around, I kind of rejigged the way I did the trip, and the whole trip, it was so much better than, the first time around, I got caught up in the 4th of July weekend, all the plane strikes and all of that shit happened, plane cancellations, not strikes, sorry. So the trip to Joe Fest was really good, but probably the thing that I'm most proud of this year, as me and Pete were just discussing on the previous stream, was being able to secure all of those Lost Palatoy TV advertisements and make them available to the public, and have the original reels get delivered via Bob Breakin to the Colville Heritage Society.
Yeah.
Hitting 60,000 subs was awesome as well. I hit 50K early on in the year, in January, and then obviously hit 60 as well. So yeah, they're the highlights for me.
Yeah, and that's I know you understand. I know you all understand, but like once you get more, getting more it's not that hard, right? Because you kind of steamroll. As long as you keep your momentum, like you kind of steamroll a little bit. And James Lucas is saying congratulations to you, Tony.
Thank you.
JLS is saying next stop is 69. Here's a question for you, Tony. Did you bring back Broken Vader's arm?
I did. Yeah. So Michael still has, like, that's his childhood 12-inch Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's more than 12-inch, but the large scale one. And he's still got the childhood arms, because I had this idea about. I said to him when I was there in 2022, like, hey, I'll take the arms back to Australia. And they were in the case. And he's like, oh, they're the childhood. And I was like, I am not taking your childhood toy. And he's like, I've got another set somewhere. Let me find them. And he dug out another pair. So when I was on the flight back to Australia from the first trip, I filmed that clip of me, like, taking them out of my pocket on the plane. And sent it through to Michael, and he was like, I'm just going to sit on this for the right moment. And then it was when I hit 50,000 subscribers, which was like 6 or 7 months later, he did this, which I was not expecting. He totally surprised me, and I absolutely love. In fact, I rewatched that video just the other day, where he does this little skit with Broken Vader, you know, celebrating that I'm doing a 50,000 subscriber live stream and all of that stuff. And then it cuts to the shot of me on the airplane with his arms. But yes, I brought them back in 2023 and returned them safely. So
yeah,
the things we do to create interesting content for you guys.
oh yeah. But sometimes I sit around like, how can I troll people but make it fun and entertaining at the same time? And then Mikey from JMK Custom Works is here, and he says 2023 was the year of shitbirds and dickweeds, but here we are together anyway. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. And then all the way from the Great White North of Canada, Mr. Rob McCallum, aka Rob McZob, is here. Rob, thanks for being here. He's the writer director of like that Power of Grayskull documentary. Action figure adventure with Jay Bartlett, Nintendo Quest, and he just did that really awesome Mr. Dress Up documentary. Will you guys like or hate more toys in 2024?
I think I'm going to continue to pick and choose and be very choosy.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we're talking about new stuff that's coming out, I can't decide until I see it.
Yeah,
but like, when it comes to the vintage, like, I don't collect stuff that I don't like. So
right,
yeah, for vintage, it's like back it up, bring it in.
I mean, with modern stuff, I'm only collecting one modern toy line. That's Action Force. I love pretty much everything that comes out. Just my personal preference. I picked up a few Marvel Legends the other day simply because I went into Kmart and they haven't had Marvel Legends on the shelf in probably 12 months. And I was doing some Christmas shopping. I went in a week beforehand and they had the figures were from like 12 months ago, but they must have found a couple of cases of, it was from some of the Spider-Man waves from the previous year, but they had them on the shelves for like $8 each. I'm like, well, I'm not turning down $8 figures when they're, you know, pinless and quite well made. So I got I got a Shocker, one of the Spider-Man villains, and I can't remember what the other one was. Yeah.
Not that shocker, Chad.
Okay, so you brought it up, and I'm going to ask the question. I'm looking at the chat. I'm starring stuff that I want to present to you guys. But what is the freaking deal with pins and pinless and pins and pinless? Maybe it's just a rhetorical question, but why is it that you see one classified figure that's pinless, and then you see 5 more that have pins, and then you see another one that's pinless? Does anybody know? Like, it's completely inconsistent. And those pins, they're like eye cancer to me. I can't unsee them.
Look, trying to understand the thought process that goes on in some of the design rooms at Hasbro is like trying to play chess with a pigeon. Like, they don't understand the rules to the game. I'm more likely to understand, what women want than why Hasbro do.
No, that's fair. I appreciated the long pause and then look.
Well, I was waiting for someone else to jump in. I don't want to take over the whole show.
Knowing that there's better tech out there, but then you're like, well, what? No.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that sentiment. And there's a question from George Aiken I'm going to throw up here in a second, but I was trying to get on board with the Transformer Joe crossover stuff. I like that Thunder Wave. I think it's a good looking sound wave. It's larger than the Masterpiece version, and it's the exact dimensions of a Thunder Machine. I thought they did a good job with it. And then they're like, oh, they're doing Cup as the Triple T, and I was like,
yeah,
okay. And I was like, Optimus Prime Mobat, and I'm like, why the Mobat? Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to take it in.
Optimus Prime Mobat.
Yep.
Yeah. When you get guys that have never read the comic books, who don't know who Larry Hama is, and they're putting these designs together, this is what you get.
But in the Devil's Due comic, they had him as a freaking Rolling Thunder, right? And then the TCV Toys or whoever they are, they did that STC-01, that Strategic Tactical Commander, where it is Optimus Prime as a Rolling Thunder, and it looks amazing. And then they were like, we're doing the Mobat. And I was like, I'm going to try to be positive, but I just have a feeling he's going to look like the Bumblebee Awestriker, where he's all OD green, except for like right here, like that hero face. And then that's red. But I don't know. We'll see. So here's the question from our good friend George Aiken in the UK, which, by the way, he sent me some sweet Christmas presents. Thank you again, George. Do you think Hasbro or Disney will last until 2025?
I hope not.
I mean, that's a lot to unpack in that, right? Because if we're talking about 2023, Disney alone, like they shit the bed for the entire year. They only had one profitable movie, and that was Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And that still wasn't the massive hit that the other ones were. And everything else they did was a bomb.
Well, now they're suddenly starting to bring back park discounts, park hoppers, meal plan, free parking's back. I mean, we used to go to Disney a lot when our Munchkin was younger, but then
Disney World is empty. It's freaking empty
because they basically nickeled and dimed everybody to death. I know, like Leslie's brother, they were DVC members. So I mean, when they went on vacation, they went to Disney. They sold their points because they were like, nope, it's ridiculous, because they just didn't see the value in it anymore, because you get tired of taking advantage of and seeing the meal prices. You go, okay, well, fine. Well, if we don't have any sit down dinners, we'll just do counter service. And then you've got YouTube channels out there that show you, like Disney Food Blog. Oh, by the way, that burrito went up $1.80 last week. Why? Because, people just screw it.
Yeah. Well, I took my kiddo to Disneyland. We just did a turn and burn. Drove the 10 hours out, stayed the night, went to the parks, stayed the night, came back. And because It's a day after Labor Day when everybody should be gone and everybody should be back at school. And it was nothing but annual pass holders from California. Not a single person on vacation. It was packed. And there was garbage everywhere, all over the ground. It was gross. It was terrible. And even my teenager was like, I never want to come back here again. I was like, well, good thing I wasted all that money.
Especially when that's, helping bolster Disney is the parks.
Yeah.
Like, thank God we got the parks.
Yeah. Well, I think they're leaning a lot more on Shanghai and stuff. But what about Hasbro? So they still had net profits of like $3.9 billion, and they said it's not enough, and they're laying off a bunch more people.
Well, now that they're not trying to make crappy movies anymore, they have a lot of diversity in their other toys. They'll be fine. Hopefully they'll right the ship on some of the other intellectual properties that maybe they're going down some weird directions. We'll see.
And Dragons.
For one.
Well, I don't know. What do you think, Tony, about the way they handle their intellectual properties at both of those companies?
Well, they are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place with, certainly with their like Star Wars licenses, Marvel licenses.
Yep.
That stuff, it's not selling well.
No.
Certainly when the stuff is like Marvel Legends still sell well when they do like comic accurate stuff.
Yep.
But just lately, in fact, when I go into Kmart the other day and they've got all these cheap figures, I picked up a couple of figures from one of the earlier Spider-Man waves, but the vast majority of what they had was from Disney Plus waves. I was like, I don't want any of that. No one does. It's peg warming everywhere.
Yeah.
Eternals are still on store shelves 2-3 years later.
Give it away.
Yeah. So, I don't think as a company it would be a wise move for them to we're not making money off this brand anymore. Let's give it up and then have someone else like a Mattel snap up the license. That's not a very good business move. But they're going to have some conversations with Disney and say like, hey, we're not going to, and they're probably going to be hard conversations because Disney want them to make figures of all the new properties that come out because seeing the product in stores helps its advertising for the upcoming content, whether it's on streaming or in cinemas or whatever.
Yeah.
But, Hasbro's getting taken to the cleaners over it. I mean, Ollie's is doing well out of it, but
Ollie's doing fantastic.
Ollie's and Ross, they're making out like bandits.
And you're already starting to see the change with, was it San Diego Comic-Con? The premiere panel slot that normally goes to the Legends team this year went to the Joe team.
Yeah.
You're starting to see they're prioritizing their own IP over others, which should have been the strategy all along. Like prioritize your own IP.
Yeah. That's the stuff you make the most profit off of.
Yeah. Stop treating it like a redheaded stepchild.
Yeah. Emerging brand, right? Yeah. And that's
not to
I'm
get
hoping
too
that maybe this will help them to get away from leaning so heavily on all these other outside IPs and take advantage of the stuff they have in-house. They've got the mask. They have several other, great 80s toys that they've just locked in a vault somewhere. Maybe they'll start bringing those back.
I don't want to see them drag out Mask again because they're either going to make just 6-inch figures or they're going to half-ass it or something. I don't know.
I don't think they've got any interest in doing Mask.
No.
I really don't. Mask did not have the following back in the day that G.I. Joe did.
Yeah, exactly.
Nowhere near.
Yeah, any of these lines that didn't last past 3 years or 3 waves or whatever you want to call it, Mask and Humanoids, Visionaries, things like that. Yeah, when we were kids, we loved them. But if they couldn't compete back then, when you're talking like Toys R Us and Child's World and all these places floor to ceiling, they're not going to make it now.
But if they'd done a crossover with Joe and Mask back in the day, or even now, that'd be a no-brainer.
They did, right? So they had Unit E. They had that whole revolution where they had like ROM and Visionaries and Mask and Transformers and Joe, and they were all like one big team, and it didn't last. And that was in the mid-aughts.
Yeah, they didn't
Mask
follow through
belongs in my G.I. Joe universe. That's just me.
That's fair.
Jay Bartlett's here. It's good to see you,
Hey, what's
brother.
up, Jay?
Thanks for being here. Appreciate you being
Jay.
here. And speaking of classified stuff, HGC says brand new Wolf Spider, aka Big Parm, has a shotgun that can shoot around corners. So we're still having that problem. I guess.
Don't all the figures have guns that shoot around corners?
Yeah.
Except for the scuba divers. They have spear guns, which are so bent, if they shot it like that, it'd come back and shoot them in the face.
Yeah. Shoot you in the
You
ass.
know, I didn't believe that was a thing until Scuba sent me a picture of his eel with it was bent in almost the letter C.
I have not. I've tried to.
Go on, Pete.
I've tried to, work that back. It just doesn't because, again, as we learned from Bobby, the durometer of that plastic, it's just not happening.
And Rob McCallum says every time I interact with Chad, I get the shocker. Yeah, you do, buddy, because I love you. And that's part of the thing. So, guys like us, we get called haters and toxic and things like that because you just point this stuff out. I know that we all agree that we're just being vocal about these things to try to get them fixed, but we've all run into it where we get the hate comments and the trolling comments on our videos. Tony, I'm looking right at you. And yeah, you don't care. We get all that stuff and it's like, oh, well, just hate it up and put it under a book and it's not a big deal and things like that. Like
it doesn't work.
Yeah, we've reached that age in the internet where everything is like consensus. People join these toy groups because they want the consensus. And I don't know. What do you guys think about that? About the whole being labeled? Tony, you get labeled a hater and a shill.
Look, so if
I'm poking,
if I went out and bought a Dyson vacuum cleaner and I got home and I opened it up and the fucking nozzle was bent so I couldn't push it around the floor in a straight line and it had one of the attachments missing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I was vocal about it. Am I now all of a sudden a Dyson hater? Am I toxic? Like,
yeah,
no.
It is stupid to the point that I'm not even interested in the conversation with these morons anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much same.
Yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable when you're dealing with, $25 to $30 for a new figure for it to come with accessories that aren't bent in a U shape. When I buy a Valiver's, Valiver stuff comes prime right out of the box. No problems. All the weapons are good. And so that's taken over the majority of my military figure line stuff.
I've not put my hands on a classified figure in a while, in a long time. So I've heard some people say that a lot of the bent accessories is due to packaging. Pete, you've touched these new accessories. That's primarily the Duro, right? And Tony shaking his head.
They're just
it's not the packaging.
Rubbery.
Yeah. Because I saw Ninja's video about I think it was the Crimson 3-pack, and he was showing Baroness and her thigh pins, and they were just like moving around inside the buck. Rachel Salinas says, I believe pins and newer figures are there because they're being kit bashed. Parts like Helix with old Scarlet parts, Shockwave, Beachhead parts. That makes sense.
Good point, Rachel.
Gotta save them dollary dues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Reuse wherever you can. I mean, Mattel did a pretty good job of reuse for years and years and years with Masters of the Universe.
Hell yeah.
Yep, they sure did. And so Figure Fever sends a $2 super chat and says, good evening, gentlemen. Thanks for being here, Figure Fever. And that brings up a really good point. Yes, Masters of the Universe, they came out of the gate with a lot of reused parts. Sure, we understand that. Like Skeletor's got web feet. Got it. G.I. Joe did it. Especially in 1982, where they've got so many figures all sharing the same heads. And then on and on, Kirk Bazigian has, he said numerous times how they would just like put stuff up on the wall and go, give this guy that torso and these arms and this bandolier and so on and so forth. But why do you guys think, and I've asked myself this like in my private moments, why is it a big deal now when it wasn't then? Is it because we were kids then and it was part of the allure of the line, or?
Well, because the original Masters of the Universe toy line was so, fuck all your inflation calculators. Do my head in those people. Original Masters of the Universe action figures were not massively expensive. What we're talking about today is product aimed at collectors. We pay a premium price for what we expect to be a better quality. That's the issue. But I mean, there was, apart from like the first wave of Real American Hero in the 80s, there was not a lot of reuse beyond 1982. You get into 83, 84.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yes, they did redo figures as like Python Patrol and all that. But all of the new characters coming out over those next few years were completely redesigned.
Yeah.
Like my favorite era of G.I. Joe, it was in the UK, it was 1987, but I think for you guys it was 85. That was like Footloose, Bazooka, Flint, Barbecue, that kind of wave.
Yep.
All original sculpt, every single figure.
And a new head articulation.
Right?
Yeah. Instead of just left and right, you've got a bit of up and down as well. Look, I'm doing up and down right on top of Chad. Look at that. In talking about his private moments. Ooh, I'm about to give you a pair of rating goggles.
And I don't think reuse is a big deal. We see with Bobby's Valaverse Action Force, there's a lot of reuse. It's being creative with the reuse, so you still get new characters. Not an issue.
I appreciated the fact that they did that Wolf Spider figure, and maybe I am a hater. Okay. So I don't like it. So I'm critical. Okay, whatever. Throw stones at me. It's fine. But when I saw that Wolf Spider, I was like, oh, hey, look, it's Beachhead version 3. And I put up side-by-side pictures of both of them, and it's legit Beachhead version 3 because it's all Beachhead parts. I'm like, just call him Beachhead version 3 and you'll be good. It's fine. Or call him Night Force Beachhead. JLS Comics wanted us to know that he tried to go to Wally World, but they were closed.
Huh?
Vacation? Wally World?
No. Oh. Moose up front should have told you.
Yeah. Sorry, folks. Park's closed. Media Clash says, you do realize owning an IP isn't the same as owning a utility, right? I don't really know what he's getting at. Utility like a vacuum cleaner? Bless you.
Thank you.
I don't think that's what he means.
He might be responding to someone else in the chat. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. And then Stinky Catbutt asks, do you guys think Disney is just trying to force Hasbro into bankruptcy? No.
Nah.
It's just in their contracts. Like they just like Tony said, they have to make
Disney's trying to force themselves into bankruptcy.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job, so don't worry about it. So I saw something that said, we all know how much Disney paid George Lucas for all of Lucasfilm, which included Skywalker Sound and Industrial Light and Magic. And now, after going through Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Willow, the only thing out of that purchase that's worth anything anymore is Industrial Light and Magic. Like they just destroyed everything else. But yeah,
and now they're working on trying to destroy Doctor Who. Also, in my opinion, the Disney Who is not great.
No, I've watched 2 episodes and I'm like, what in the hell am I watching?
Of what?
Hold on a minute.
The new Doctor Who relaunch
by Disney.
Disney Plus is teaming up with BBC to do the new Doctor Who, and it's awful. Ugh. Terrible.
Yeah.
So I had to go for a second. Hey, Dan Jam is here and says Merry Christmas, everybody.
Dan.
Merry Christmas. Dan Jammin. Dan Jammin.
Not be done.
And then Eternals are eternally at Ollie's.
They are. Yeah, even Ollie's they can't get rid of them.
Oh, here's a good one. Why from Brian Stevenson? Why can't we get a decent live action GI Joe movie?
We did. It was
I
called
have
Predator.
one answer. I have one answer, and it's a short answer, and then we can expand on that. Lorenzo Di Bonaventura. That's why. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Because they don't have the intelligence to realize that a decent live action G.I. Joe movie could not really be set in the modern day. Like, if you're going to have G.I. Joe and Cobra, you look at the last 20 plus years of fighting the worldwide war on terror, like it's a different political environment. Sure. To make a really good G.I. Joe movie, you need to set it in the Cold War.
Yep, period piece. 100% agree.
Yeah.
Well, what about G.I. Joe Resolute? That wasn't really set in any particular time period, and it was really good storytelling.
Well, it was
That was a good
mature, and it was just one of those stories where the guy who was in charge of Resolute was pretty much like the guy who did Wrath of Khan. I know it, Nick something. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering his name right now, but he only knew so much about Star Trek that he knew, like, these are my left and right limits. And then he came up with Wrath of Khan, which is amazing. If somebody wants to argue that, that's fine, whatever. But the guy who did Resolute, he only knew so much about G.I. Joe. And Resolute, to me, was brilliant because that could literally pick up right where the end of the Sunbow animated series before the 87 movie.
Yep.
86?
Yeah, it was like a love letter.
Yeah, exactly. And and then Resolute had a lot of it had some winks and nods in there where you see Duke talking to Scarlet about, you can go with him or you can stay with me. And she's like, you mean stay with the unit? And he's like, you heard what I said. And so
yeah,
they kind of played into it like, yeah, we know in the comics that Scarlet and Snake Eyes had a relationship, but in the animated series, Duke and Scarlet had a relationship. So we're going to kind of put that in there. And I think Resolute was brilliant, but it was one of those flash in the pan things. And then they didn't do anything with it, so they didn't cultivate that success. They just let it go.
I mean, you also can't deny the fact that G.I. Joe is a very difficult property to get right in live action, because when you go from animated to live action, there needs to be a certain level of realism. Now, I know there is such a thing as Space Force now in the US military, but aside from that, right?
Yeah. They're so horrible.
Do we have to acknowledge that?
The simple fact that the likelihood that an elite US military unit would be codenamed G.I. Joe, it's a very difficult hurdle to get over when you're trying to do live action and make it realistic, because no matter we want these properties to age up with us. That's why Batman's got darker and darker and more serious all over the year. We want these properties to age up with us, forgetting the fact that they were actually aimed at kids. Like, you would have to make a decent live action G.I. Joe movie, it would have to be aimed at 5-year-olds. It couldn't even be PG. It would have to be, what's the one below PG?
G.
Suitable for all audiences? Yeah, G.
Yeah, general
audiences. Laser guns, the whole lot.
Red and blue.
Yep. Like, Shipwreck would have to be Shipwreck in the movie. You would have to have a talking parrot.
Ugh.
That's how you do a live action movie. And all of us adult fans are not going to like it, because we want this thing from childhood to age up like we did. But when you've got a character like Bazooka who goes into battle in a red fucking t-shirt,
Yeah. Football jersey,
yeah,
who's getting it first?
Him, and then Tiger Force Lifeline. Yep, that's who's getting it first. Hey, look who's here.
Laser bats. Hope feel better.
Yeah, feel better, Ryan. Sorry that.
Is Ryan sick?
Yeah, he's got the Rona too.
He's got crud.
Oh, I didn't
got.
realize.
Yeah.
Ryan, dude, get better, man. I didn't know you were sick. Sorry.
I invited him on, but he's like, I'm sick.
That's like 3 times in 1 year. He's going to stop licking things in the workplace.
Yeah. I believe I told him to stop
Opening-
licking doorknobs. But
Yeah, opening doorknobs with his mouth.
yeah, he's like, oh, here, let me. Hey, Tony, remember when I was on your show and we were talking about the Hyatt Joes and I was. Remember that?
I didn't remember that we
that
were
was
talking
great.
about high Joes at the time, but yeah, that I'd have a distinct memory of that finger action happening.
Yeah.
On my
Hand and
channel.
arm signals. That's how the wrist goes in. Like that.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Yep, just plugs right in.
Mr. Madgus says that my nunchuck's right arm is fused.
Oh, the new one.
None.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do a nut. Oh, they did do an yeah. They did an unchuck.
Yeah, for those.
I liked Chad's sentiment the other day. He was saying that Hasbro has basically become a cover band of themselves and even made a veiled Van Hagar reference.
I did. I did. And that's what they are. Like they're Van Hagar or they're not Van Halen. But
That's quite funny. I haven't heard it before because I don't watch this channel, but I do watch this channel, Chad.
Delicious.
I don't catch everything.
it's terrible. Why would you say that to me?
What do you think of those? I mean, you were posting, I saw on different outlets, the leaked figures that might be Super 7's first O-Ring Joe offerings.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's exactly what I thought they would do. Super 7, reaction is reaction. It's not about, oh, it's G.I. Joe, and G.I. Joe's never 5 POA. It's reaction. It's like a Funko Pop. But one thing I will give Super 7, aside from the fact that Brian Flynn won't fucking answer me, because I'm not, shilly enough.
Well, he's kind of short. He may not be able to reach the phone. I don't know.
I don't know, whatever. I knew that they weren't gonna come out of the gate with that the old Hasbro playbook, Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander and Duke. Now they did do Duke and Storm Shadow, or as you were, Duke and Snake Eyes, but one's a cartoon version and one's a comic version. And then they had Raymar, and I thought that was really cool just to see. Yeah. He's got to be big though, and he can't be 3 3/4 inches. He's got to be like 5 inches tall.
No.
Yep. That's my thoughts. Anybody else?
I'm kind of excited to see what they look like. I want to get one in hand.
I like that they're doing Sunbow.
$40.
Yeah, the colors are bright and very kid friendly. But for me, my favorite Joes was in the Marvel comic book run. That's the Joes I'm interested in. So it's not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Speaking of Marvel Comics, I want to see somebody do the Cobra Aspen, the Cobra heavy lift helicopter. It's going to be Super 7 who does it. Agree, disagree, like it, don't like it. I know they're going to freaking do it. Like my spider sense says Super 7 is going to bust out that helicopter. Now, there's always people like, oh, it's going to be too expensive and it's going to look like this, and maybe not. I just bought a fucking Soundwave Thunder machine, so whatever. And that's because I chose to, because I like Transformers in my G.I. Joe universe. I have Masterpiece Transformers for the reason that their size scales well to a 4-inch Joe. But I don't know. I think at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see all this stuff and see what shakes out, Oh, look at that. That's from Not Top Goon.
That's when I sneezed.
You're that far behind, Chad?
I'm always that far behind. Isn't that like the common thing? There's 100
sneezed like a half hour ago.
Me, man, shut the hell up. Oh, don't forget Howard the Duck. No, Lucas, he lost that back to Marvel a long time ago. That's why they use Howard the Duck in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Just because I'm a Joe guy doesn't mean I don't know about other shit. Here you go. Frontline, thanks for being here. Is Beachhead from G.I. Joe the father or grandfather of Checkpoint from Cops? So,
Yeah.
they're
They're related.
related. They're both Sneedens, and Larry Hama wrote all those file cards. I thought he was his grandfather. Anybody? He's not his
grandfather.
I have no
I think it was
idea.
grandfather.
What do you think about this?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's fair.
Expendables was the Great Joe movie if you look at it from that perspective.
Yeah, I mean, even the freaking maestro of G.I. Joe himself, we were talking exactly that same topic about G.I. Joe live action movies. And Kirk Bazigian was like, he's like, there was a great G.I. Joe movie. It's called The Expendables. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, where you took all of these 1980s characters and they're still serving when they should be retired.
Yeah.
On the front. Yeah.
You know, and Tony, that was always my argument about classified. And I understand, like, the name of the game is play it safe these days. And it's not just Hasbro. It's not just Joe. We know that it's everything, right? It's all the remakes and all the sequels and the requels and all the prequel stuff. Everybody's doing it. But I was like, if you want to make classified something new and interesting, like make Flint or Falcon, make Falcon the new General Hawk, and, you know, bring new characters in and do something like that where you're continuing G.I. Joe, but it's now. And that's, I know we talk about
if
it.
you did an Expendables style movie as like the first of a series where you sunset the old characters and then have one or two of them stay on to train the new characters, that would work.
The thing is, that's like Blade Running right there. Not many properties do that well. I felt, and I don't know if Tony's going to blow a gasket on me, I felt that Top Gun Maverick did that really well. I thought Maverick did it really well. Where they honored
Top Gun Maverick it just hit Netflix in Australia. So I tried to watch it again. I couldn't get through 20 minutes of that god awful film.
I told you.
It definitely requires a suspension of disbelief.
Look,
hey, it took
me
two tries to get through
Bobby
Dial of
in here to
Destiny.
start talking about fucking Zack Snyder's Justice League.
After Maverick, you know, he fucks up the test flight, you know, so they reassign him to Top Gun, and then the first thing he goes to the bar where he meets Penny, and then all of the characters are coming into the bar and they're playing pool and you know, all the code names and Hangman and I'm like, I am watching a fucking cartoon. These are cartoon characters. Nobody, not even real world Navy fighter pilots, behave like this. No one has this permanent, like, sweaty glisten all over them when they're playing the fucking piano. It's like, this is just bullshit. Now Chad's frozen.
Was that me?
Yeah, you're back now, though.
Well, that better not be me. I'm hardlined. We might have a problem.
You're back. You're back. You're good.
I am back. Oh, God. No, and I will agree with you on that aspect of that movie, because, like, that lieutenant comes up to Maverick and he's like, thanks, old timer.
Yeah.
That's like one moment in that movie, especially when they all talk back to him and shit. You know, like he's some kind of piece of garbage. You know, he's a Navy captain. That's an Army full bird colonel. You're not going to talk to them like that. Like, that would be like a private walking up to me and being like, yeah, thanks, old timer. I'd be like, come here. Come here. Get a little closer. And I would pull their soul right out of their friggin' body if they did that to me. So, yeah, I do agree with that. But I personally feel that it honored what happened in the first movie without, you know, making Maverick incompetent or making him forget where he parked his fighter jet or being some deadbeat dad or being, you know, some asshole Luke Skywalker like, I don't want to train these kids. Ugh, I hate them. I came here to die. You know, but
speaking of Skywalker requels, Mython the Python's mentioning Rebel Moon. It's like, if you thought you know, what Disney was doing was a hot mess, just check out Zack Snyder.
Very cool effects in it.
Yes, it's very pretty. But the
You
story
want to hear
is
some
silly.
hateful talk? I liked Rebel Moon.
What?
Come at me. I liked it.
Unfriend right now.
Do it. I
It
fucking
felt
dare you
better
do
than
it. I don't
any
care.
Disney Plus stuff.
Unfriend me. That's your problem, not mine. I like Megaforce. I mean, I don't, I watch stuff for what it is. I like it. Look, Fat Red Food's with me. Come on, man. Get on the bandwagon. I don't give a shit.
It's very pretty. I just think the story could have been written a little tighter and less.
Yeah,
It was like watching comic book panels. It didn't connect.
I don't. Tony's like, I don't even care. Masterson 42 says, actually, Tony, fighter pilots do act like some of that. They do use call signs to address people. A lieutenant will call lieutenant colonel by their call sign. Now, seeing a brand new guy and a dying old timer, no.
All right, so Master Son 42, your evidence of this. Navy fighter pilots, not every single one of them looks like a fucking Calvin Klein model, but they do in that movie.
You got to get those hot young people. You got to reel them in. Come on. We're playing football on the beach, baby. You know that they
Trying to
sat
get those
around like,
recruiting
how
numbers
are
up.
we going to redo the volleyball scene from the first movie? And they're like,
With lots of baby oil and a football.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm ready to shoot my scene. Look at that. Skunkworks knows what's up. Megaforce is the shit.
I like Megaforce.
Here's a question. Anyone see Aquaman 2?
I can't bring myself.
No
to.
interest.
It's just me? What the hell with you guys?
So you've wasted your time not only on Rebel Moon, but also on Aquaman 2.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I like to watch weird shit. I don't, whatever. It's, yeah. Ever since they gave the DC EU or whatever they called it, 15 different names. Ever since they gave that to James Gunn, anything that came before just went out the window. Like Shazam 2 was not, in my opinion, we all have our opinions. It was not a bad movie. I've seen a lot worse movies. But
I didn't see Shazam 1.
I have not seen Shazam.
I like Shazam. I like the character of Captain Marvel, actually, thank you. Yeah, but anything that came after that announcement was just nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit. And Blue Beetle sucked. I had to sit through Blue Beetle, and it sucked. Skunkworks.
Yeah, they made
Krull.
Making that.
Krull.
Oh, Krull's excellent.
Hell yeah.
Making that announcement about James Gunn made all this other stuff just lame ducks. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So it's like,
nobody
just
cared
shelve
anymore.
it. Forget it.
I don't think the story of Aquaman 2 was bad. Is it kind of a retread of the first one? Yeah, a little bit. The
Does
effects-
really need to get beat over the head about global warming though for an entire movie?
No, yeah, that was very, very heavy-handed. Tony, what do you think about Krull? Do you like Krull?
I remember that I really liked it when I was a kid, but I haven't seen it since I was very, very young. Like at that time, the 1980 Flash Gordon movie, Clash of the Titans, I was all watching that kind of thing on home video rental.
Conan.
Most of those movies I've gone back and watched numerous times. I'm gonna have to get myself a copy of Krull and go and watch it again.
I just watched
This does
Flash
kick
Gordon
that.
earlier. I will say this. The scene where the Cyclops doesn't want to come with them because he has to stay there and die because he can see when he's supposed to die and all that stuff. And then he shows up on that fire mare. When he gets crushed, it's still as powerful as it was when I was a kid. Every time I watch him get crushed by that wall, I'm like,
what movie are
Almost
you
as bad
talking
as,
about
as
now?
Artax getting drowned in the swamp. That scarred my childhood.
You're talking about
Never ending. Yeah.
never ending story, not Krull.
What the fuck is this Big Bacon saying? Liam Neeson was in Krull?
Really?
What?
He says Liam
Maybe?
Neeson was young as shit in Krull.
Brian Stevenson says, I can't wait for someone to make Megaforce toys, and I made them my damn self. I'm trying to find Big Bacon's comment. Shazam was fun. Is Amber Heard in it? Yeah, she's barely in it, and you can tell they cut her out. I'm still trying to find his comment. A lot of comments. Krull was awesome. Where the hell is this comment?
Hey, you're getting warmer.
Liam Neeson. Shut up. Liam Neeson is in Krull. Really?
He must have been like a teenager then.
Now
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Liam
go,
was
like,
in Krull.
after
He
this
was
and
very
fire it
young.
up.
I knew that Robbie
Gotta watch it
Coltrane was in
again.
it. Yeah, because Robbie Coltrane, you can't miss him. But Liam Neeson, yeah, Liam Neeson, he's one of the prisoner guys. Yeah.
You know what I've heard is really good, and I want to see, but I haven't seen it yet, is Godzilla Minus One.
That movie is
Everyone
amazing.
You've seen it?
It's amazing. Yes, I saw it twice. It's so good.
People are putting it like, you know,
It was
in the
Cat
top
goes
two
to
of the
a bunch
best
of people
films of all
said
year and
it
stuff.
faces.
What are you saying, Pete?
I said many people that are big Godzilla lovers that I know are like, go see it.
Just as a film, not even like a monster movie or a Godzilla movie. Just as a movie, it's good. One, it's a freaking period piece, Tony, right? Like we've been talking about period pieces. It's right at the waning days of World War II. It so much character development, like interpersonal relationships, and you see like how the main character grows and like how he atones for what he didn't do at the end of World War II. And it's a freaking good movie. Good movie.
A lot of commentators have been saying, not like special taters like Ryan, but commentators have been saying that if you watch Oppenheimer and then watch Godzilla right after, it's like the two work really well together because it
Don't
talks
fail.
about, because of
I
dealing
saw
with the
freaking
atomic
Oppenheimer. That movie insists upon itself, right? I live in New Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
I drive by Trinity site on 380 all the time. Like, yeah, it's just like a whole New Mexico thing with the Trinity site and blah, 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 and Los Alamos National Labs. But that movie like insists upon itself, and it just kind of fucking bugged me. It was way too long. It was like very Christopher Nolan. I didn't dislike it, but the wife and I were watching it, and I was like, man, they could have shaved about an hour out of this movie, and it would have been okay.
That's because you could just look out your window and see the desert. You don't need to see it for 2 hours on a screen.
Yeah. A lot of the locations, I was
Some
like,
of us
yeah.
have never been to the desert.
You've never been to the desert?
I went
Tony
through the
knows all
desert on
about
a
the
horse with
desert,
no name.
Tony.
I live in the desert.
You and me both, sir.
Yeah, you do live in the desert.
You and me both. Yeah. I liked this comment. I starred this from Gabriel Pinto. It said, just wanted to say what's up and stay blessed. Great figure decor. Each one different from the other. Awesome to see that. I thought that was a really nice
Each
comment.
one different.
The backgrounds of our 4 rooms, Pete.
Our powers combined. It's a lot of money.
Pete, I
A lot
wrote
of disposable income on the wall.
I think Pete's phone is tired. And
freaking internet,
Aaron Nichols
man.
says, I got an email from 3D Joe's that they're shipping the Art of G.I. Joe book. Yes, that is true.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I like this comment from Chris Allen. It's not hate, it's constructive criticism. These companies have to be called out on inferior products. Absolutely agree.
Yep, they're not giving you a $5 figure. You're spending $36-40.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
you know,
another Patrick Stewart wasn't.
I was gonna say-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, mass market stuff is always going to be lower quality than the specialty boutique stuff. But we're seeing a lot of smaller companies rising, giving us good characters with good backstories, with good construction of the figures. And that's where the dollars are going to go.
Agreed. And then there's this bit of info. Liam Neeson was 31 when Krull came out. He was born in 52. Movie came out in 83.
Jesus Christ. So Liam Neeson's 71 years old and he's still making action movies?
He's still making Taken movies. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will find you.
I liked the Gray. I thought the Gray was a freaking awesome film. I really enjoyed that.
That was excellent. I
Did you see The
especially
Gray,
love
Tony?
the fade in or fade out scene at the end.
Yes, I've seen there's one he did with the guy he plays Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad movies.
Oh yeah,
Joel
Kinnaman.
Joel Kinnaman. There was a movie Liam Neeson did with him a few years ago where Liam's like this washed up alcoholic cop, I think, and then he's Run All Night. I thought that was a really good movie where they're being chased across the city throughout the night by these gangsters. That was a really good film.
Yeah, that's an older film. Liam Neeson still makes Taken movies, but with different titles. Yes, they're all still Taken movies. Yeah. He has a special set of skills. I have to address this really quick. G.I. Joe Action Figures Collection 66 Joe fan says, I have to check out Delta 17 O-ring figures. I've been a huge supporter of Delta 17, and I talk about them all the time. So
yes, you do.
Indeed, I do. I do. I absolutely do. In fact, I got this shit within arm's reach. So, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. A little bird told me Scuba is getting some Delta 17 goodness in his collection.
Death Sparrow.
Oh, are you talking? Man, that is weird. Like you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
He is like the world's worst ventriloquist puppet. He's just sitting there. The puppeteer's not even making the mouth move, and occasionally a sound comes out.
Oh, geez. Yes, I have Death Sparrow.
Nice. Are you holding it up?
We'll see in about 20 minutes when it catches up.
Oh, God.
It should be after show where he finally holds up the figure.
Oh, my Lord, Pete. I love you, man. You're good for a laugh. Matt LaCroix sent me some Strike Force Alpha figures in the mail. Oh, shit. I didn't do that.
I'm just happy it's not me. My Guatemalan gremlins usually screw up my signal, so it rubbed off.
Boy. Anyway, you guys want to see what's in the box?
Yeah, let's see what's in the box.
Yeah, you want to see what's in the box? Let me go get some scissors and I'll show you what's in the box.
Very cool.
Hopefully Pete comes back. We'll see if Pete's come back. Look at that. Oh, Mikey said now Pete's doing his Robert De Niro impression.
How about now?
Yeah. Yay!
Oh, God.
Hey, Tony, I want to ask you
Been a night.
what stuff are you looking forward to next year?
What do you mean?
Like toys? Anything
So
you're like really looking forward to? Well, I get some scissors.
2024 for me is going to be. I've got some real vintage goals. So there's nothing like new. I'm looking forward to. I've kind of made the commitment that I want to complete my vintage Star Wars action figure run. So there's a bunch of figures from the last 17 I need to get. Plus, I need to get the Max Rebo band. There's still tons of vehicles and play sets I don't have, but I really want to complete that action figure run. The only thing that's putting me off is the 4 fucking Ewoks in the last 17 that are all like $200 a piece. Ewok, I don't. You got 4 Ewoks in the general wave, and then another 4. I don't even really want to pay $200 for an Imperial Dignitary, but
and freaking Drew G walked across most of those.
Right? Yeah. With weapons, their sticks.
I've got in fact, I recently acquired the Luke in Endor poncho, all vintage complete.
Nice.
I picked that up recently. That's a really nice figure. So I'm getting closer. And like if I've got a Stan Solo reproduction, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to go out and buy a $500 yak face when I've got this beautiful Stan Solo one.
Or the EV99 that he did.
Yeah, exactly. But I still need I need like Han and Carbonite, Imperial Dignitary, Barada, and then the 4 Ewoks, and I think that's maybe it.
That's it.
Yeah, and then I need the Max Rebo band. But yeah, there's also a few other. When it comes to G.I. Joe, I've got this really cool idea for a video about dreadnoughts, but I need to go out and acquire all the dreadnoughts. I've got quite a lot of them already, but I need to get who is it? Zanzibar came on the skiff.
Yeah,
I need to get that. I need to get the Thunder Machine. I don't have Monkey Wrench. But then there's those. Was it? Did they do like a Sears exclusive 2-pack of vehicles in like?
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
yeah. It's the vamp.
Do I really have to acquire those to make the video, or can I just use internet images for those ones? I think so long as I get all of the core figures. So I've got a lot of them already. It's mainly like the Thunder Machine, Zanzibar, and Norgahide, I think, is the other figure I need. So that's what I'm looking for in 2024. Anything new? It's just going to be, Series 5 from Valaverse, or I've already pre-ordered Series 4.
Yeah.
Look for the Vanguard. Obviously, I'm looking forward to.
That vehicle's freaking awesome. And then, like, Bobby posted that side by side of both of the colorway Vanguard.
Really have another meltdown. These people are fucking pathetic. They are just pathetic. No one's shitting on your fucking Hisstank.
No,
everyone says it's
showing
really,
it together.
I've heard a couple of minor complaints of like there might be a couple of people with like cockpits that don't properly close, but it's minor stuff, right? Everyone's really happy with the vehicle. It's good quality. No one's shitting on the Hisstank.
And that's good too, because I mean, look at the Sentinel, look at the Sky Striker. Like, you got busted knee ratchets and parts missing. I mean, at least they fixed that, so good for them. Yeah, nobody was shitting on the Hisstank, and man, did the
No, it's cool.
Oh,
And like Chad and a few other people pointed out, it's not a tank. It's a century vehicle. It's supposed to be small. It's made the way it's
just
made.
If you know, doesn't make it a tank. It doesn't have like a main smooth bore gun with a bore evacuator. It's not a tank. It's a century vehicle. That's it. Good Lord, man!
For what it is, it's in good scale. But the thing I'm mad at Bobby about is he made the damn Vanguard in more than one color. So now I got to get one for Steel Brigade. I got to get one for the regular Action Force guys. It's killing my wallet, man.
Yeah, I was a bit annoyed about that. I'm obviously going to go for the desert one, but I do really like the look of that dark gray with the black accents.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sleek.
But yeah, like I'm also factoring in that shipping to Australia it's probably going to end up costing me the same price of the vehicle again to ship it. It's probably going to be about $185 to ship it over here just because of the size of the box. So, hey, here's a question. I haven't paid too much attention because I don't have the classified Hisstank. And I'm not really watching reviews. Like I do feel a little bit bad for these channels who some people go out and they buy these HasLabs and it's like, I hope I get it early, because if I'm the first person to come out with the video, no one's videos on the Hisstank are getting good views. You know why? Because
there's a million of them.
Well, there's that, but also it's unlike a new wave of figures where if someone gets the first review of a figure, it typically does quite well because people watch that to then make a decision on whether they want to buy the figure.
Nobody's going to go buy it.
People can't go and buy the Hisstank now because it's been and gone. Yep. But here's a question, because I haven't watched the videos. When I was a kid, in my headcanon, right, the engine for the Hisstank was inside the main body. But now they've made the main body like a troop carrier that can only carry one figure with his legs behind his head. Where the fuck does the engine go? Does it have an engine?
It's got a itty bitty engine compartment somewhere between the cockpit and the back section that looks like it's about as big as what you would use to power a motorcycle.
So the high-speed Sentry is powered by a fucking lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not shitting on the Hisstank. It's not a real-world vehicle. It's probably got, Stark reactor technology. Oh, that's the wrong franchise. What am I on about?
Well, we know how easily it blew up in the cartoons.
Yeah.
Master Son, I watched him doing fucking arts and crafts time the other night, and I didn't even know it was him. Engine is behind the cockpit. There's a cover you can remove.
Maybe it's powered by Mr. Fusion.
Flux capacitor.
Yeah.
Actually, it's science fiction, Tony. Actually, thank you.
Is it
Media
though?
Flash it's an eco.
Is it science fiction? I've never ever thought G.I. Joe was science fiction.
Really? You don't?
Kind of.
No.
A little bit.
No, and if you do, you're a toxic hater.
Oh.
Actually, I have a G.I. Joe whose name is science fiction. Thank you. Pete, what are you looking forward to?
Robo Skull Mark II.
Ooh, Tony doesn't like that.
Eternia coming in the spring.
Oh yeah, the Mattel Creations Origins Eternia. Yep. Wasn't Robo Skull Mark II supposed to ship like 6 months ago?
I don't know about 6 months ago, but then it was like I thought it was going to be fall, and now it's still not.
Now it's practically 2024.
I dropped my stupid recon vehicle.
Yep.
Laser Pants says in the chat that he made a Hisstank video, and I'll
Yes,
tell
he
you,
did.
it's the only Hisstank video you need to see.
Here's Ryan's. I'm going to recreate Ryan's Hisstank video. Yeah, so I'm going to open this box, and I don't really do these kinds of videos. And then the next thing you know, the box is gone, and it's like set up on the table.
Oh, you're
I
killing
loved it. I loved
It was an awesome video.
Oh, yeah, it actually was. I enjoyed it. All right, you guys want to see this shit?
Yeah.
All right, so this is from Steve's Toys. This is the unproduced, and it's a lot of boxes. This is the unproduced G.I. Joe train. And it runs. I got to put it on tracks with power, but it runs.
What do you mean unproduced? Are you holding a prototype toy?
Well, he 3D printed this. They never actually made the toy.
Ah, right.
They-
Okay, it's
they
a
never made it.
recreation.
Cool.
And it's, I mean, like he packaged this very, very well. Yeah, and then this is the
Wow.
it's got foam all inside of it, but this turns and opens up, and then it's got the car that has the cannon. It's pretty much the same cannon that's in the back of the General, and on and on and on.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got the actual Battle Corps
how
Ranger
loose-
sticker on it. See the Battle Corps
excellent.
Ranger sticker? Yeah.
Huh?
How loose is your caboose? I mean, is it pretty good?
How funky is your monkey?
Loose enough, loose enough where all I got to do is take like 3 deep breaths and we're good.
Nice.
So what track do you need to get for that? Is that like O or G scale?
I would have to look at my messenger. Sorry. I don't do model trains. But yeah, I
seem to
gotta get some
recall there
track.
was
Yeah, it
like
looks
a,
like,
a littler scale
garden
Joe
scale.
train that was made. I don't know what scale that was. Tycho
HTC
made
That
it,
little
I think?
Tycho HO.
Okay.
I want that train from Extraction 2. That was a cool scene. Guess I got to rewatch that movie. I remember it was good. I thought Extraction was a good G.I. Joe movie, personally. Yeah, this thing is freaking ridiculous. Look at the light on that.
Ah, the searchlight.
Very
That is cool.
Yeah, the searchlight.
Did a
And then-
great job.
Yeah. Oh, he did a freaking amazing job with it. Yeah. It's a really awesome train. And we have been working on that for, well, we meaning him, and he just sends me videos for months and months and months. But yeah. Tycho did a Joe train in 1983. Yeah, I've actually
That's
got
the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's
It's tiny,
right there.
but it's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it just came with like little green army men. But yeah, that's it.
Sorry, I got distracted by a message for a moment. Can you just go back to that comment from Wilhelm about the train in Extraction 2?
Yeah.
That was a cool scene. Yeah, my favorite part of that scene is where Chris Hemsworth, what's his name? Tyler Rake.
Yeah.
Tyler Rake. That name's up there with like Bobley Swagger from Shooter. My favorite part of that scene is where he takes cover from the helicopter. He takes cover behind a ladder.
Oh, now I remember. That's
He
right. 'Cause
literally
he's got
goes
the
like-
240.
Behind a ladder, and then somehow every bullet ricochets off the rung and doesn't hit him. That was awesome.
That's right. Now I remember that. Yeah.
But no, that's
right. And the helos are like strafing like super low. They're like 5 feet off the train tracks. Like, yeah. Now I remember.
But hey, he gets props because he's got the 240 in that scene. So
He does. Yeah. He's got the 240.
I got to say,
have a
when
question
when
for you.
you and Michael sit and watch movies, sometimes that's got to bug the snot out of you when you watch an old war movie and you're like, nope, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. That's
Yeah,
nuts.
Not possible.
yeah, I mean,
When somebody drops a grenade and it's like, "Bah!" There's like this massive fireball explosion. I'm like,
grenades are not flammable. Like,
no. No.
here's a question for you guys, right? Serious question. What do you think is the future of toy YouTube in 2024?
Ooh, that's a good question. Pete, throwing under the bus.
Like I'm at the reason I asked this question, like something I've been thinking about doing a video or a stream about it. We're kind of at this point. There is, and I don't have anything against anyone who started a YouTube channel during COVID. That's Shardamus Prime's problem. He can deal with that himself. A lot of channels popped up during COVID, and then even more have popped up. And there's this oversaturation now that's gotten to the point where I don't watch any toy YouTube outside of pretty much retro blasting. I kind of put your channel in like a predominantly live streaming channel is quite different. You know, I'm suppose I'm talking about the toy YouTube channel who do the produced videos, but like there's nothing out there that I watch when a couple of years ago there were, you know, a dozen different channels I watch. It's to the point now where it's so oversaturated, it's hard for anyone, you know, even a channel with a following like mine, it's hard for videos to get any traction. And I'm lucky that I'm actually going to be starting in 2024 to do some video production stuff that's nothing to do with YouTube. And the business will go like that, which really frees me up creatively to go, I don't really need to worry about putting out a video that I think is going to get, you know, 50, 60, 70,000 views. I can just make the content I want to make.
Yeah.
And those videos, I enjoy making them more. The audience appreciates them. Like my favorite video of this year, hands down, was the Big Ben review. For a single figure review, I suppose the views aren't too bad on that. I don't think there's any other Big Ben review on YouTube that got 18,000 views, but 18,000 views is not in the upper echelons of views on my channel. You know, because there is this oversaturation of, you know, by the time I got that video made, there were 50, 60, 70 different video reviews. So yeah, a broad question, but you know, and this is to all of you guys. What do you think is the future? How? Let me rephrase it then. How do you think a toy YouTube channel is going to be successful in 2024 and stand out? And I'm taking notes here. I'm looking to take the channel in some different, you know, when I say different directions, I'm not moving away from discussing toys. It's always going to be a toy channel, but I'm looking to do some more interesting things, which is, you know, something that I've just done on the video that just went public about half an hour ago. So,
Well, this isn't going to be my overall answer, but I'm just going to say one thing, and then I'll kick it off to these gentlemen. I personally feel that one way to not be a viable YouTube toy channel or grow as a YouTube toy channel is to just go get shit off of shelves and review it, and go get shit off of shelves and review it, and go get shit off of and that's all you do is you go to Target, you buy a Dollie, you come home, you review it. You go to Target, you buy a Dollie, you come home, you review it. It's just like that may just be a personal thing, but that's what I think is a way to not be qualitative. You guys want to go?
Sure. This is something
That's
that
great. Thanks, Jim. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was playing.
My friend Will and I have looked at that, and we're trying to innovate and do some different things. And some of it we've been inspired by Tony and others who've come before. We don't do toy reviews, but we will intermix things. Like if we do talk about a vintage toy line, we'll put some history in there and show some connections. Like, how does Action Man and Captain Action connect? Well, there's a connection. There's somebody who was part of the design team. Let's talk about that. Or, with some of the other guys that are out there now, they're doing toy photo stories where they'll take some of their classic Joes or Action Man, write a new script, and then do photo stories where they're playing with their dollies and putting cool music to it. So that's fun. We'll also intermix some other stuff like what we do with the Infinite Playlist. It's like guys who love toys talking about something else other than toys. And those things seem to work for us. So
yeah, I mean, I've never considered my channel to. I'm not a review channel. A lot of people, a lot of the people. When I say the haters, I'm not talking about the four of us on screen. I'm talking about the people who don't like me. They're very quick in the comments to talk about my bias towards Action Force. Such biased reviews. I'm like, I don't review figures. I make mini documentaries.
You're a historian.
Yeah. I don't do review. It's very rare that I ever review a single figure. The Big Ben video, was that really a review? No, that was a comparison between real world SAS and this fictional one. And I brought in all of these elements from that documentary and my own experience. So I'm Analog Toys is not a review channel.
You know what you are, though? You're a friggin' seasoned. You are seasoned when it comes to YouTube, because you asked that question and the chat just friggin' exploded. And I started starring really good comments. Every comment in here is a fucking banger, and I just stopped starring them. But
look, I said I was going to bounce after 45 minutes. I've been here for an hour and a half, but I want to continue. I want to continue this conversation now. So what do you think, Pete?
You love us. You know you do. Go ahead, Pete.
We talked. Chris, Jeff, and I have talked, and we really want to try and innovate. When we did that with like our little Christmas special, switch into trains because it's Christmas special, but switch into trains because nobody typically talks about trains. I'm sure there's YouTube channels that are strictly devoted to that, but us being a toy channel, it's like, let's take it's still a toy. Let's take another angle at it. And it's not even my setup that I showed off. It was my dad's. Like I come by this thing in world building, honestly, that's a part of me. I mean, hell, I played with my toys under the train set, and Jeff's got an old Lionel set that he's going to try and get restored. God love him. He spent quite a bit of time putting it together and really wanted to make it go, but now he's kind of got the bug to work on that. So there's a video there. Hell, Chris bought a set last week, and he's like, I think I'm going to do a video in the new year. And I'm like, let's jumble it up. I like that.
Yeah. I like this comment here from George Aiken. kind of expands on what I was talking about. A lot of toy channels just do modern toy reviews there. You know,
That's
get
fair.
10 of them for a penny.
Yeah.
Look, I like you guys. I respect you all. And I believe, no, there is no but. I believe that being honest is a sign of respect. I've always felt that. Bad news doesn't get better with time. And I believe, like, if I'm brutally honest with people, it's because I respect them enough to be brutally honest with people. It's just something I've always believed. I'm going to say this is probably going to piss a lot of people off, and I'm sorry, but if you only collect shit that's like now, like stuff you just go get at Target and Walmart, I don't see you as a collector. I see you as a consumer. Maybe that's fucked up, and if it is, I'm sorry, but it's just like, there's no difference between that and going and buying a can of peas every week. It's just like, I don't know. That's just me. It might seem kind of harsh or shitty, but yeah.
Being toxic.
I killed it with that. Shark Eyes says, Tony, I use your desert rat figure for a Tyler Rake kit bash.
Cute.
Have you posted that in the 3POA podcast, the Facebook group? Because I've seen a Tyler Rake kit bash on there. So if that's the same one, that was cool.
I made a 4-inch one with a head that I got from. It's escaping me right now because I'm so full of hater energy. I just forgot it. But, yeah, I made a 4-inch one that I really appreciate. I gave him a nice M4. Yeah. Kill a Mogwai.
Tony, how excited are you for the new condor that's going to
chat?
match your desert rat from back in the day? You got some ideas for putting those together and doing some photos and storytelling?
Like I'm really excited for the figure. I purchased 2 of them. I wanted more, but had to buy the whole wave. I'll probably make another purchase in the future. But as far as like video ideas go, I don't really have any yet. I'm just looking forward to getting the figure and experiencing it. So
cool. Kill Mogwai sends a $2 super chat. Thank you very much. It says some of my favorite toy people. Very awesome.
What's up, dude?
He's talking about you, Tony. And then Masterson42 sends another super chat. Thank you, sir. And says, what were each of your guys' most successful videos of 2023? Was it a surprise or about what you thought? Good question.
who wants to go first?
Mine was a surprise. The Unheimlich, where I went off and did, stories about things in our zeitgeist, from, stories about Sigmund Freud and why we see things go bump in the night. That one did really well. It has nothing to do with toys. Go figure.
I'm trying to.
Pete's frozen again.
The Eternia.
I'm trying to
building Eternia video and breaking.
Oh, that video is so good. I love it. Where you go like shuffling down your driveway to this like mass of boxes. Great video.
I think it was just, again, because it's raw honesty, I'm not trying to fluff it up. And, everybody's like, whatever you do, don't build the track. And it's like, well, isn't that kind of the point of at least playing with this thing? Let's do it. And to have it break in real time. Not going to sugarcoat it.
Tony, what about you?
I'm just looking here now to see what was my most viewed video. Yeah, so I thought it was the video I did recently about the unreleased 1986 Kenner toy line, because that video like blew up.
Yep.
166,000 views. But actually, back on April 12th, I did a video. I think this was the last video, or one of the last videos I put out before I went to Joe Fest. The top 10 controversial action figures was the most viewed at 172,000 views.
That's a good video.
But I kind of knew, that kind of not a clickbaity title, because clickbait kind of means you have a title to make people click, and then
right, yeah.
the video is what it says it is, but I knew that kind of a title would draw people in. But yeah, so the second most viewed video on the channel was the unreleased 1986 Kenner toy line video, Star Wars one, and that was also the biggest surprise. Like I thought that was going to top out at 20,000 views, and it smashed through. It's now like, I don't know, like the 6th or 7th most viewed video on the channel, and I've been doing this for 7 years. So yeah,
that's rad. Mine was the custom Cobra Missile Command headquarters that I made, and I got 2,000 views in like 2 days. For me, that's a shit ton, and it topped out at I think right around 13, just below 13,000. So that thing exploded, and I was very shocked by that because I didn't know how to film. You know, making a custom, for me, that's always been a very kind of, I don't want to say intimate, but it's very private, because I'm always thinking, you know, about what's the other 30% of the solution for this thing. And sometimes I delete things and I have to start over. And when I make customs, because I have a lot of anxiety, it's very much a like, this is where I go to like not think about anything else. And I just sit over there at that table and I just have my head down working, generally listening to other people's videos on YouTube as I do it. And
I love the fact that your custom missile command inspired somebody to go on Evil Bay and sell a knockoff of it for like $600 or try to. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
What did that really happen? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like $130. And at the end of the day, I only made the video because I was like, hey, you know, exactly what I said. If Hasbro doesn't want to make playsets, make them yourself. It's super easy to do. And that's all I did. Because a lot of people think, oh, I can't make customs. Sure you can. And you know, like, especially something large like a playset, it's so forgiving. Just do it. Have fun with it. And yeah, so a guy was selling them on eBay, and it's, you know, it is what it is. He reached out to me on social media. He was cool about it. So yeah, it's, you know, that's what the video was for. But that was my biggest video. I've had some live streams that have blown up pretty big, but as far as videos, like produced videos, yeah, that one went insane. And I had no idea how to do it. I took like one of those collapsible like tray tables that people eat like Hungry Man dinners at, and I set it over there. And I even put a piece of tape on the ground, like, this is where I have to place this table, so it's always in the same spot. And then I have like a little bendy camera stand, and I don't know. It worked out well. Setting all that up though. But, yeah.
It's so hard to like get your hands like without just standing literally in front of the camera.
I have to do the light, and then I have to do the mic, and I have to make sure the mic's aimed at me, and then I got to do the phone holder, and I have like all these things right next to me. And there are so many outtakes that nobody saw because the video was long enough as it was. And I'm working, and I do something, and I just smashed everything over, and you just see the view. But yeah, it was left and right. But that was a fun video, and I have to do some housekeeping. Chronically, dude, I just checked my email. Send me an email right now, and I'll shoot you the link, dude, if you want to jump in. I know we're kind of getting down to the wire, but I don't have an email from you right now, so send me an email. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, so yeah, that was mine, and thank you, Masterson. That was very nice. Jeff W. with that fantastic mullet and a $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. Says, gentlemen, the most important question of the year: which Joe Cobra figure has the best mullet? Don't say none, because there are a few.
Recondo.
Yes.
Right out of the gate, huh? Pete?
The classified Recondo.
Oh, man. Best mullet.
I know it's more of a ponytail, but I'm going to say headman. Can I say headman? Is that cheating? Yep, probably Recondo.
I don't think that's cheating.
Pete?
Ripper?
Ooh.
It's more of a Mandinka, isn't it?
Ripper. Yeah, that's a good one.
He's got a mohawk, hasn't he?
The original
He's
Ripper?
more of a
I thought he had
Mandinka.
like spiky on the top and party in the back.
So I thought, sorry, because he says question of the year, I'm thinking
okay.
like classified figures that came out this year. Sorry.
Isn't Classified just Marvel Legends cosplaying as G.I. Joe? Ba-dum, psh. Hater! I'm a freaking hater. Sorry. I don't care if you like it, but I'm going to shit on it. That's all there is to it. So,
Quick Kick had a good mullet.
ooh, Quick Kick, yeah. I like to picture my Storm Shadow with a mullet under his mask, you know?
Well, I think Dusty's got like a Mel Gibson circa 1980s mullet, but it's just hidden under his
Super feathered. Yeah.
yeah.
He looks like your boyhood friend's mother. Yeah. That was a good question.
Chuckles should have had a good mullet.
Oh, I freaking hate Chuckles. This is a good comment from Mikey. He says, "What? You know, I don't like Big Boa either. It is what it is." Mikey says, toy channels, in my opinion, do or die based on personality. Most of the content is the same shit. It's all about you. I agree.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
to that,
I do agree. I mean, something I would add to that though is I have seen some, hands in the camera, modern figure review channels where I feel like the host does have a lot of personality. There's one channel, Mod Extra UK. Like, I really like him because he's really, really British. But he reviews a lot of G.I. Joe classified stuff. He's got a great personality, but I don't think his channel will ever break out because it's just, here's the box, here's the legalese on the bottom, the figure it comes with it, and it's like there's just so much of that out there. Right. You've really got to try and do something different, and you could do. I don't know how, but you could do modern figure reviews if you came up with a unique way of doing them. Like I can't go and review every modern figure like I did Big Ben, even though hundreds of people in the comments asked me to do that. I'm like, I can only do it with that particular character because of my connection to the SAS.
The SAS, yeah, exactly.
But also that video took me like 5 fucking weeks to make. If you make videos are taking you that long to do.
Yeah.
Only going to do a half a dozen videos a year,
Right. Yeah. It becomes like a diminishing return sort of thing because you're doing so many long produced videos and they take longer and longer and longer. And people are like, how come you're not putting out content more regularly? It's like, you know how long this shit takes?
Yeah.
Editing
like
takes a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to Michael with his Indy 5.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Chronically says variety. The best this idea that a band should only play rock songs is bullshit. Channels need to do more than just one subject. The channel about you, not so much the subject, but always needs to be good.
Yeah. That's why we're going to introduce co-ed naked basket weaving in 24. I think it's going to be a hit.
Really popular.
Yeah, that'll probably go over well. Do that. Make sure you do
Dream Weaver.
Take Articulated Ninjas. He's got a sub-series. I can't remember what he calls it now, but where he talks about, mental health awareness and is it real talk?
Real talk.
Yeah.
He's well aware that those videos are not going to get big numbers on his channel. That's not why he does it. And it's that kind of content that helps you grow your audience and have people and develop a loyal audience who want to keep coming back because they understand what the host is all about. And they're my absolute favorite videos of his. The one that he put out like just before Christmas, man, hit me at this right time. And it got me. That's the kind of stuff that separates his channel from a lot of others, and other people do it in different ways, but yeah.
Fucking Pete. You know what though?
We get a couple shows like that. Oh, we did some we called "Don't Call It a Comeback," not just because I like LL Cool J, but just dealing with mental issues around the holidays and or just daily life. I deal with something called dysthymia, which is just like low grade depression. And toy collecting and the toy hobby is part of my therapy. It's what I do to cope. So we talk about that a little bit. And yeah, it's
that's
great.
me and
we
making
talk
customs.
about things that are real.
Yep. And
yeah.
and you know what? So you, Jim, you, Tony, and it shows that like you give a shit and you're a real freaking person. You know what I mean? You're not just like, I got this new freaking dolly and I'm going to put it over here on the shelf and watch me do it. And you know, just like completely narcissistic or superficial. Tony, I told you, you and I talked about it after you did that mental health video. That video fucked me up. Like,
yeah, it fucked me up as well.
I'm sure. And it, you know, it got me thinking on a lot of stuff that I had, you know, compartmentalized and put away. You know, we all have that little box that we put things away in. And yeah, it was
powerful.
Video, it really was. And it was, it was
look,
powerful. It was poignant and it was good.
And if you don't mind, Chad, I want to kind of explain something here real quick, because I've discussed this on my Patreon, but not with the broader audience. I haven't had the opportunity. So
please do.
That video got made unlisted after about a week, probably not even a week. So when I originally made that video, it was for International Men's Day. I was presenting on a panel at a International Men's Day event in the workplace. That's what I made it for. But I had to get it cleared by a couple of people who were organizing the event. So I uploaded it to YouTube unlisted to send them the link and say, look, you know, you obviously need to vet this video first before it gets played at this workplace event. And that was on like a Sunday afternoon. And I was watching UFC, having a couple of beers after going through the very emotionally draining experience of editing that video for 2 whole days. And then I thought, fuck it. You know, the target audience for this video are males aged between, 20 and 45. Well, that's 99% of the audience of Analog Toys. Put the video out. By the end of the week, I had become so overwhelmed with people reaching out to me, not just with messages of support, but a lot of people reaching out, wanting me to help them. And as much as I wanted to help them, it got to a point after about a week where I could not cope with it. I was getting emails, direct messages, phone calls from people locally, people around the world, and it was starting to take a toll on me. And for my own well-being, I had to unlist that video. So that's why I did that. But I still think, it was there for International Men's Day. It had the impact. It reached, 25,000 people, had an incredibly positive response, to which I'm sincerely grateful, and I know it helped a lot of people. So
yeah,
I'm glad it did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was
I mean, the trolls and haters aside, Tony, you have a very authentic voice. You have a lot of world experience from the things you've done. People respect that, and when you talk, we want to listen. So I can see why that was very successful.
Yeah, I really thought, and the interesting thing was, so that video kind of blew up. I thought, because this is not a toy video, this is not going to do well on the channel. Oh, well, for the 2,000 people who watch it. But then it was like within 2 days, it was nearing on 20,000 views. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So then when the video got played at International Men's Day, this event in my workplace, I had this like kind of whole speech. I was delivering a bit of a talk, and then I was going to play the video. And the couple of days in between me posting that video and then doing this event on the Wednesday, I had to rewrite my whole speech, because what I realized, the response to that video made me realize that, sometimes it's not always enough to just ask friends if they're okay, ask them to reach out for help.
Yeah.
you need to inspire men to do that by telling your own stories, because that's actually what happened. All of a sudden, people weren't reaching out to me because I'd messaged them to see if they were okay. People were reaching out to me because they all of a sudden realized I was someone that they could talk to, because I was able to be vulnerable myself, which you don't, I think, see all that often. So, chronically, you're not a burden, man, not at all. Just responding to one of Connor's comments.
It speaks to, you know, we all deal with military veterans in our lives. There's things that guys who've served will talk to one another about. They will not talk to somebody who's never served because they don't have a frame of reference. I think this is somewhat similar.
Agreed. Are you talking about this one?
Yeah. He says we never want to be a burden. You're not a burden, mate. Chronically, I'm not talking about you. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that shit's important. It really is, and it takes you know, everybody. The whole thing about the stigmas surrounding not being okay is that, well, you're not strong and you're not tough if you have like chinks in your armor, or you show that you're human. I mean,
it's the fucking opposite, man.
Yeah,
it's
don't
the
show that you're
opposite.
human, blah blah blah. And it's like, man, it takes strong people to admit that stuff. There's a lot of shit that I still just don't. I just don't. And I'll be ready when I'm ready. But I get you.
Kentucky inbred. What do you? Tony's mental health videos threw up red flags for me. What the fuck? What do you mean red flags?
Probably.
Maybe just some introspection about things in his life maybe he hadn't addressed. That'd be my guess.
Oh, right. Sorry, if I misread that. I was kind of read that as though like it raised some red flags about me.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
I think where he says being a veteran myself. Yeah.
Sorry for the misunderstanding.
Yeah. His own red flags, not yours.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right.
Yeah, it was a freaking great. And then Stinky Cat Butt says, Tony, you sound like a real iron-hearted man that's seen and heard way more than your fair share.
I wouldn't call myself iron-hearted, man. I'm pretty soft, really. Like, you know, I get emotional. I can, I get overly emotional. I was sitting there on Christmas Eve, not to digress too much. I was watching a movie on my computer, and I had seen the movie before once a few years ago, but I was watching a movie on my computer, and just in the other room, Grace was watching something on the TV. It was Christmas Eve, and all of a sudden she's come rushing in. She's like, what's going on? Because I was in streams of tears. And she's like, are you all right? Is everything okay? I was watching Patriots Day about the bombing of the Boston Marathon. And it was right at the end of the movie where they start showing clips of, some of the people who were badly injured in the bombing and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, Grace, I don't know why I decided to sit down and watch this on Christmas Eve and just get myself in that Christmas spirit. So, yeah.
Look, if the man was here right now, she would be sitting behind me, nodding her head and say, Chad's a weepy bitch. Because, like, we watch movies and she's like, are you crying? I'm like, no. She's like, are you crying? I'm like, no. And I mean, yeah, shit gets you. Jesse Gonzo sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, Gonzo, and says, I watched Analog Toys this morning for the first time and instantly was addicted after the first video. I need the Palatoy Action Force line. Thank you, sir.
That's awesome.
Oh man,
people are still finding my channel after 7 years.
Now you're screwed.
Your Palatoy coverage is awesome.
Gonzo's gonna go down the rabbit hole. Like, I gotta get a Robo Skull. Masterson 42, sir. Thank you again. $20 super chat. So I have been wanting to start a channel myself, but have hesitated. I'm worried I'm getting in over my head and don't have recording, editing skills. How much time do you spend on a video now as opposed to when you first started? That's a good question too.
So my workflow really sped up after Iconicon 2021. The Iconicon 2021 was a really, really successful event. And I had made so much, the channel had made so much revenue that month that I reinvested. I needed a new computer. My old iMac I'd had for like 12 years. It was dying a death. I was running an old editing program that I couldn't update anymore. And that I obviously went through a long teething process of getting used to a complete, because I went from Final Cut to Adobe Premiere, which are two very different platforms. Yeah. So I went through a teething process, but now with a better computer and better editing software, my workflow has really increased. But I now don't really want to tackle too many videos that are easy to make, because it's the ones that are really challenging to make that stand out. So doing a video like, the Big Ben's, Indiana Jones and the Missed Opportunity, these longer, more involved videos. Something I would really recommend if people don't have experience with editing. I'm not telling everyone that you've got to go out and spend a shitload of money to start a channel. But if you are starting out and you've never done editing before, the best program to start with is iMovie, which comes included with every kind of Apple computer. So if you're a Windows person, I'm not telling you to go out and spend $2,000 on a MacBook Pro, but I'm kind of telling you to go out and spend $2,000 on a MacBook Pro. It's the easiest editing software to use. It's got loads of cool features. It is limited. You will find over time that there will be things that you want to do that it doesn't do. But, you develop this as you go along. There's no point jumping into Adobe Premiere if you've never edited before. It's like, never driving a car and jumping straight into Formula One. It doesn't work. So, also, Not Top Goon asked the question several times. I wanted to answer him. He was saying he was thinking about starting a channel in the new year. Did I have any advice? If you're going to be doing a channel about modern action figures, and for example, I know Not Top Goon's a huge Action Force fan. First of all, have a unique voice and unique perspective. Try and come up with a unique way of filming the videos. But the biggest tip I can give you is to not do a video for each figure, because there are thousands and thousands and thousands of them out there.
Yeah.
You'll just get lost amongst the noise. You're better off putting a lot of time and effort into a video. And this whole concept of YouTube, where people have to remain consistent, as in, I've promised to do a video every Tuesday or whatever. That really works for live streaming, because people know what day and time to tune in, because you want people to be there live.
Yeah. But
I've managed to garner over 60,000 subscribers over 7 years, and I haven't even got 400 videos. There are other channels out there who've put out, over 1,000 videos in 2 years. Take the time to do the video. So my advice to Not Top Goon, as an example, if you're going to go and review Valaverse, take the time and do one really interesting, engaging, in-depth video about all of Series 4. Don't do one video about the blowback sniper, one video about the Arctic Trooper, because people shy away from, large amounts of work and big challenges like that, which is why not many people do videos like that. If you want to, you will be rewarded by taking, don't get sucked into this idea that the best way for you to succeed is to go and do 100 videos in your first year.
Right.
I didn't do that, and it worked for me. It's about the quality of the content, and you can be far more engaging when you've got when you discuss a collection of toys. A video about one figure is not going to draw people in. So that's my advice. But it could be completely fucking wrong as well. I don't know.
Before we continue this, I just want to say, like, Just Jeff, Jim Smith, Blue Serendipity, Jeremy, especially, I see all your guys' comments talking about mental health and being in dark places. And I thank you guys for sharing that. I am seeing these comments. So it means a lot that you guys share that, especially Jeremy, man. I'm truly sorry, Jeremy Kirk. Jim?
You know, watching Michael French, watching Tony, some of these guys, when I decided to start my channel about a year ago, I had no idea just how much editing time is required to make a good video. You know, they put a video together and you watch 20 to 30 minutes worth of video, and it's like, man, that's awesome. Then I try to make a video and it's like, holy shit, I'm 5 hours into editing and it's still not right. You know, and it's like, there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than most people know. So as long as you know that going into it and you're prepared to give it that time and attention to detail, then it's worth it, I think.
I try to play to my strengths. So as a musician, I was very skilled at using Pro Tools. And so I have an editing program that is pretty much laid out like Pro Tools, where you drag and change and fade and things like that. So that was something that I already knew how to use. So coming into doing YouTube videos, I tried to play to my strengths rather than learn a new skill. So I don't know, maybe I'm gaming the game a little bit, but it works for me. I just feel that I definitely agree with what Tony said about, you know, this whole, I want to try to do at least one produced video a week. Sure, I may have the time available to do that now, but I only want to do videos about stuff that sparks my creativity, that I feel passionate about, that I have some kind of knowledge of, that I put my hands on, that I played with, things like that. I have no interest in doing videos about toys that are currently in stores right now because I don't watch movie reviews. I don't care what somebody else thinks about a movie. I went and saw Aquaman 2 because I have my own opinions. So if I want to go buy classified Tomax and Zaymot, I honestly don't care what anybody else thinks about them. I'll just go buy them. I just try to do stuff that speaks to me because I want to be genuine and I don't want to. I can't stand fake shit, and so I got G.I. Joe Battleship over here. Maybe one day I'll do a stupid video on that if I feel like it. But I'm going to do what I want to do, and if it speaks to people, it does. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And at least I can maybe rewatch it and get some chuckles out of it. But I always try to like my own language, my own, I don't want to say brand, but brand, I guess, because if I've got a bunch of, flubs and things like that, I'm going to do an outtakes thing at the end of the video because I like the Cannonball Run movies. I love the Cannonball Run movies where they always show the outtakes with Dom DeLuise and Burt Reynolds at the end because they're awesome. So if I have stupid outtakes, I'm going to put them in a video. I've had some people say that they don't like my screaming goat. I don't give a fuck if you don't like my goat. Like, I like it. It's funny. So I put it in there. And there's,
I'd say the best advice. Yeah, best advice I received from anybody starting a YouTube channel was make the videos you would want to watch.
Yeah.
It's like, that's my mindset when I'm going into something. It's like, if I wanted to watch something, is this it? Yes, then I'll do it. If not, probably not worth it.
I try to be genuine. I try to be personable. I try to be humble. If I make a mistake, I'll admit like, oh, hey, I misspoke there, or yeah, you're absolutely correct. Like I was totally wrong there because I'm an enthusiast. I'm not an expert. I don't know anyone who's an expert on much. Like even Tony, with all of his freaking Palatoy knowledge, I'm sure at some point we'll have a little brain cramp. We all do. It's because we're human.
Dude, even Action Man, I'm not an expert. Because I'm telling you, I know people in the Action Man collecting community who are way more knowledgeable than I am.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who's an expert on anything. Honestly, I don't. Even people who are career soldiers like me, they'll screw some shit up. I'd be like, oh yeah, well your final protective fires, you're murdering your own people. Oops, and then they gotta wipe that out. But I just believe in enthusiasm, right? Like,
yeah,
that's all I want to be. I just want to be an enthusiast of stuff. We're lovers of dollies. Like, this shit's not. We're not solving world hunger here. We're talking about toys, and that's why, like this guy right here, I love Ryan for the fact that, like, when Ryan and I talk about all the hater stuff and the shill and the this, and Ryan's like, fuck him, man. I just lean into it for the fun of it. And I'm like, yeah, me too. It's, like you said, Tony, it's like, it's stupid, man. It's just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get worked up over a little piece of plastic. Forget it. So, yeah.
I mean, I do think that, well, I don't think that the toys that you have in your collection are dollies. Like, are any of the figures in? Can you take the pants off of any of them?
No. I just like to call them dollies.
I can take the pants off this Action Man James Bond figure. This is a dolly.
Yep.
Is this not a dolly?
No, you can't take the pants off. It's not a doll.
Watch me. No. I have to. Because I'm being called out, I got to do it. Mython the Python sends a $2 super chat, and he says, just for you, buddy. That's for you. I don't know. I like my goat screams. Whatever. Yeah. Ryan says, when Tony grabbed me and kissed me on the mouth against my will, that definitely raised some red flags.
He only says against my will because his wife's probably watching. We know it was consensual.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was consensual. That
now,
did really
Scuba
happen.
Pete was still here.
That happened. That happened in the living room of Michael and Melinda's house.
He
At my
like
birthday
set the
party.
mood and everything, huh? You were like waiting for the right time. If Scuba Pete was still here, I know he's in the chat, but if he was still here live in living color, he would confirm the story. Jim, we were all leaving Joe Fest this year, which, by the way, was a blast. That was one of my favorite memories of this year. We're all leaving. Pete and everybody brought out my Defiant on a large piece of plywood like a wedding cake. We brought it out. We put it in my car. We're all saying our goodbyes. Here comes Tony running across the parking lot, and he grabbed me to give me a hug, and he freaking goosed me so hard. He put half his hand in my butt cheeks, and I stood there like digging my pants out of my ass for like 30 seconds as they drove off.
I remember that.
And I appreciated it.
You have some very firm cheeks.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Been working out.
That's just for you. I like this comment too. Father Son Galaxy said it's real and funny. Maybe all of us adults playing with toys are just escaping our demons. I am thankful for you are making these videos and helping us escape for a little while.
Cool.
That's why I make customs. I will say that because customs are that's my private time. And
I mean, I never got into toys because of my mental health or demons or anything like that. I got into collecting toys when I was 16. I never really got out of it. I had a toy collector father, but it has helped me a lot in later life having something to focus my energy on, and I need to keep my mind occupied so that it doesn't drift away to the dark places it goes sometimes. So,
yeah. Something about customs, it just clicks in me where I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, so everything else just kind of it puts me in a little bit of a tunnel vision, I guess. So I just focus on what I'm doing, and I just kind of live in that moment. But I enjoy it. There was a question for you, right? Hey Chad, that corner in the bottom looks empty. Yeah, and I just checked my email, and I don't have an email from you, so I can send you the link. So rectify that, and maybe I'll fix that. Oh, here. This question's for you, Tony. Damn it. That one right there.
Well, maybe, but I'm not going to come around your house and take your pants off for you.
No?
Not unless you pay the airfare.
I got to say.
And leave a $5 tip.
Yeah. Joe Fest next year. Not, I'm not going.
Oh, look, I'm not coming to the States in 2024.
Yeah,
potentially 2025. So, yeah, I'll see what plays out. Like I got really, excited about going to PowerCon.
Yeah,
but it's not certain that there's going to be a PowerCon in 2024. So,
last I heard, I thought Val Staples confirmed there won't be.
Okay, there you go then. Yeah,
because I wanted to go to PowerCon this year, and I kind of had it all lined up. And then the Army's like, whoa, you're retiring. Like, you're not taking any leave because you got to go on terminal leave soon, and then you're going to wind up owing us back money. Okay, whatever. So I didn't go. I was like, that's fine. I'll go next year. And then somebody dropped the bad news that there won't be a next year. I'm going to get Chronically in here right now, if you can figure it out.
I'm really going to have to bounce soon, and he's going to feel terrible when he jumps in and I leave. He's going to
it's okay. He'll
my Guatemalan gremlins are acting up, so I might wig out too. So
that's
time.
Okay. Joe Bit sends a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, and says, "Good day, mates. Hope your holidays are going as well as you'd like." Tony, pre-orders for your crotch piece are through the roof.
What?
So Joe Bits, I don't know if he's got like a Facebook or a Macari store or whatever, but he sells bits and pieces, and he's saying the most valuable figure of 2023 was selling parts and pieces of Desert Rat. It was the biggest seller. So yeah, and apparently now people are ordering Desert Rat crutches.
Nice. I dig
Good to know you have a well-desired package there.
See, he came in before you guys.
Hey-o!
What's up,
Howdy.
dude?
I come fast. I mean, I get to the places I need to be quickly.
How are you, man?
What's up? Did everyone have a good Christmas?
I did have a good Christmas, yeah.
Yeah. I'm filtering through some of these cold opens because I'm afraid if I just jump in with a dick joke, everyone's going to go home. So
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
I had a house full of
gotta ease
in-laws and
into that,
outlaws, so
yeah.
George Aiken, good night, sir. Thanks for being here. And thank you again for those gorgeous Christmas presents. Tony, did you see what George got me for Christmas?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I saw on Facebook. Yeah. Yeah, you got the Silent Attack and MMS, was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And some
Action Force
figures
SAS. Yeah.
and some chocolate. Yeah, it was good. Chronically, what's up, dude? What's going on? How you been?
Oh, I've just been wearing this next video like a helmet on my head. You know what I mean?
Which is?
Tony got it.
He wears a helmet on his head in his videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I've been plugging away at. And then I was going to pop in, say hi, and then here we are.
Hi, here we are.
Here we are.
I think everybody's going to bail out soon.
Okay. Well, hey, I like crashing the stream. That's fun.
Chronically, what do you think about going to the DFW Joe Show in 2024, which is on the exact same weekend as Joe Fest, but has way better guests? What do you think about that? You want to go?
I mean, you know me, I'm not against going to anything like that.
Well, I'm going. You're not far from me because you and I have hung out in real life. Jim chronically saw my band play.
DFW,
Nice.
does that stand for Don't Force Wind?
Or Dallas, Fort Worth,
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
Whatever works for you.
There's also retro pizza in the neighborhood. So if you like some vintage gaming stuff, it's another one to catch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Retrofest, yeah, that's there. I think they do it twice a year.
They do.
Cutthroat Comics says, "Wow, you're still going, Chad? To what? DFW Joe Show? Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Oh, I think he means the live stream. You're like the Energizer.
The live
Bunny.
stream's still going.
Yeah.
I said I'd jump on for like 30 minutes. I've been here for nearly 2.5 fucking hours.
Yeah, because you're the best. You're the best guy ever, Tony.
Chad, you're not retired, so you don't understand that. Us older guys, after about 2 hours, our keister can't handle being in a chair. We got to get up and stretch.
What's older, Tony?
The circulation.
I think Tony's younger than me, and you're like 5 minutes older than me. If you're going to be talking that shit, talk it to this guy right here, this young kid.
What do you
It's
mean?
not the years.
I'm literally
it's
just
mileage.
I'm a brain in a vase. What are you talking about?
You're an incorporeal.
That's right.
Anyway, yeah, Tony, I'm sorry that we're not going to be all hanging out next year. I was kind of pissed. I was a little. I mean, I knew that you had said you may not go in 2024, before everything started cascading into what it is, but I don't. As soon as all that shit went down.
Before I even left for the trip over there, it was like a thing with the wife. It's like she was cool with me going in 2022. She wasn't quite as cool with me going again. It's a big burden on her to leave. 'Cause I go there for like 2.5 weeks with all the travel. I'm gone for three and a bit weeks. So before I even left, it was like, that's it. I'm not. And I mean, even if I do come back in 2025, it's got to be me and her together. I can't be going alone next time. So
Yeah,
it's not fair on her.
no, and trust me, I totally get that sentiment, because just me going to Joe Fest this year while my wife was at Camp Roberts in California, like just living in the field like a mongrel for like a fucking month, like I felt really bad. I felt really bad, but she was like, just go, it'll be fine, and whatever. But yeah, I totally get it, and that's just stateside. So you're coming across the world. Yeah, I can definitely understand that.
If I was you guys, I'd be having different families in different places. What are you talking about? This sounds like a real non-problem to me.
Always with this guy. Hey, Jim, here's a question for you. What's that action figure behind Largo? Cutthroat, I think you got to get a little more.
Which one?
Yeah, which one?
So this is my coffee troll. He guards my coffee cup. This is a custom Joe who's my cryptid explorer. There's a little plunderling on a German Shepherd that's part of my cryptid crew. They're fun. Was that it?
Sure. Yeah, sounds good. Mython the Python says, I wish I could live stream with you, Chad. Yeah. Sure, I'm down. I'm never against it at all. I love having people on to hang out and talk stuff. Yeah. Anyway, Jim, what do you got coming up?
Well, gosh, I'm working on some new AF3, covering some Action Force goodies. We're still going through the lore of Series 2 and Series 3 characters. We're going to be doing the same treatment that we did with Action Force with Delta 17. We're going to go through the characters and look at the story, because they're also going to be doing a comic book and some other detailed stuff, just like we saw with the mission files in Action Force. So I'm more into the lore and the storytelling. So we're going to focus on that.
Yeah, that last video that you just did was great. Like all of it,
Thanks.
The production value, the music, like going through like the timelines of like the disillusion of the United States of America and all that stuff. It was really good.
Well, that
Tony?
was the thing when Will and I started putting stuff together, is like, this line, Action Force, has a great story and people aren't talking about it. They're talking about the figures, which are cool, but it's like, man, the story's good too. Check it out.
That's what got me into Action Force again. I'm not much of a 1/12 scale collector, or whatever you want to call it, 6-inch dollies. But the fact that it was new, it was something different. It wasn't the same old safe crap. Look, here's another Snake Eyes. That's what really drew me into that line. And
I'm telling you, Ted, I know you like the 118, but once you go 12 inches, you never go back.
That's what I hear. Yeah. That's what Tony keeps telling me in private messages on Facebook. Tony, what do you got? What do you got?
I started out with 12 inches.
Yeah, you did. And then you started jumping out of planes, and then you went to 3 3/4 inches. Now you're back to 6 inches. So you're going in the right direction. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I had a video drop about 90 minutes ago. I've got a couple of others that I'm working on at the moment. I know we talked tonight about my Big Ben review, and I did say I can't do those kind of reviews all the time. Right. But there is it won't be quite as long, but there is a similar kind of review coming up of the classified snow job in January sometime. Like, that's not the next video you'll see, but yeah, other than that, I was really not productive throughout most of December.
Yeah, and that's.
But I'm back. I'm back. So
back, baby.
Yeah.
Are we going to see some more Desert Rat and F-Bomb in the future? Those were cool.
I don't know. Like we talked about doing, because it's not exactly a tradition, but there was a few years there where I was doing like a Christmas themed live stream with F-Bomb. But we moved into this new house and it's not very well set up. Like there's not enough room in here to get. But do you remember when I was in the old house and I used to do live streams on my own? You could see the whole table and I would have toys all over the table.
Yeah.
I can't do that in here. When I bring the camera back a little bit further, it reveals some really messy shit on the sides. It doesn't look good. So I really need to relocate, which I'm hoping to do in the first few months of the year, into a new house because I need a better studio space. So, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, cool. I'm this wall right here, that was my second Joe Room tour video. I'm redoing this whole wall because, like you were just saying, Tony, I'm trying to turn all of this around so I can have that kind of setup with not like everything on my desk where you can't see my desk, but backed up a little more so you can see what's going on in front of me. And I'm working on that.
Yeah,
it's slow going. What about you, Chronically? What's new and upcoming with you, Faceless Man?
I really wanted to have one more video out before the end of the year, but it's just been it's been wall after wall with the whole thing. So it's probably not going to happen before the change of the year. But yeah, I've got a Dragon Ball Z themed video that should be coming out relatively soon. The script is done.
Rad.
Yeah. Other than that, you may be seeing someone here again on my channel. I can't confirm or deny that.
And that was cryptic. That was weird. That was real weird. I'm gonna do a video on this train because this train's freaking rad. I will do a video on that because, again, that's not something that's readily available. As far as I know, there's only 2 of them. I'm not gonna do a video. I just grab it by the lip, I'm not gonna do a video on this. A million people have seen videos on this Death Star, but this, I'm gonna build this with my wife on the floor in the living room in peace and quiet, and I'm going to relive my childhood of building that Death Star. Yeah, the train is 1/18 scale, and it's like an 8-car train. It's the unproduced train that they never made for the line. TJC, real quick, I got to address this. I will hit you up on Instagram or Facebook. Any day is good for me if you want to throw down some Wildlands. But guys, I can't thank you enough.
When will we see Joe's on Joe's? When will Jeremy J be available again? Because we missed that.
Yeah, Joe's Talking Joe. It's kind of like Loose But Complete over on 3POA with Ryan. without Jeremy around, that's just kind of taking a backseat. So,
Chad, can I butt in with a I have a dream statement here real quick?
yes, please do. You can butt in with whatever you want. I can't see your freaking face.
I know. I have a dream that I do a music playlist on LARGO'S channel. That's that actually is a dream of mine. I quite enjoy those. That's a really good look into a lot of our content creators outside of the subject of toys. So Jim, I think you're doing a great thing with that. Keep doing that.
Well, thank you. We're putting together our guest list for 24. You're certainly welcome. We're going to do some remixes with, maybe Chad and some other guys that have been on to doing another playlist. So the more, the merrier.
Yeah, I was actually very proud of Jeremy having Our Lady Peace on there. I was like, wow, I didn't know this dude was that cool.
He's got depth.
Yeah, it's surprising to see what a lot of people's musical tastes are, and you look at them and you're like, yeah, whatever. You like we see each other as like toy people, but everybody has so many other layers and like more depth to them. But yeah, that's just real cool. Blue Serendipity, when are you on to play Wildlands? What system? Because I only play it on Xbox. Let me know. Maybe I'll just hit them up. And then Scuba Pete sends a $10 super chat. Thank you, Scuba. You didn't have to. Says, love you guys. Sorry, my connection took a shit. Internet provider said my speed is messed up. That's what she said.
Well, Scuba walked so I could fly. I'm sorry you're not here, buddy.
You could have been here anyway, man. You could have been here no matter what. Tony, I'm glad you came and hung out with us. I really miss hanging out and chatting with you. It's been a while.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be back on you. I feel like I've haven't been on YouTube for a while, so it's nice to be back.
Yeah, it is good to hang out with you again. Chronically, here's a question for you from Not Top Goon.
I will send you my PayPal.
Seriously,
I think you can send messages on PayPal, right?
No.
Oh, dang! I don't know.
Hey, Not Top Goon, I'll send you his email, dude. How about that? I'll help you out, man. Blue Serendipity says, Tony, I'll wait until 2025 for my kiss.
Didn't I give you a kiss in 2023? I'm sure I did. Yeah.
Oh, you guys are on Xbox? I will send you my freaking gamer tag. Look at, I'm going to put my gamer tag in here. I know I'm kind of off script, but whatever. I like gaming. This is my gamer tag on Xbox for anyone who wants it. Blue Serendipity talking to you and anybody else.
Let's be honest, though. You're not going to be gaming until you spend some quality time with your train. I mean, come on, be real.
No, I'll leave this train and I will go throw down in Bolivia. I love that game. So yeah. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Tony, especially. I know you said you'd be here for like a half hour, 40 minutes. It's been 2 hours and 34 minutes, and you are the man. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for having me.
Best. And everybody in the chat, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for all the awesome questions. We covered a lot of stuff. We did, and it was fun. I really enjoyed it. You guys are the best. And if I don't stream on Sunday, I hope everyone has a happy and safe New Year.
I thought you were going to say hateful New Year.
No, I tried to say happy and safe at the same time. I hope you all hate your New Year's, bastards. Because I'm a hater. Yeah. I need to find somebody to shill for. I can't shill for Valaverse because I'm not known as a 112 scale collector. Who could I shill for?
Hella Dope always needs love.
They didn't get him his
Hella
mug.
Dope. No, Ted was supposed to come on here, and he decided to go get himself Corona.
He
never gave me a mug.
You're already
either.
a Delta 17 shill. You already are.
How? I don't even have any of their figures.
All you're going to do is talk about it, and you're a shill.
Start a rumor that Kenner's coming back, and then just shill for them. Ride that wave for like a year and a half. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay.
$6 million man. The secret.
That one bit of stuff that I dumped, man, I got beat up for that. Nerd. How could you be a shill for Nerdzoic?
Just for the store, maybe? For his online store?
I don't know. Shill for brats. No, I can't do that. I
don't
gotta
wanna
find
light up
somebody
the
to shill
boulevard?
for. Yeah, we're gonna figure that out. That's gonna be my goal for 2024. Who am I gonna shill for? I'm gonna work on that. But more to come. So you guys are the best. Thank you guys all so much. Who wants to sign us out? I don't care. Somebody
Have an awesome day.
That sucked. That sucked. Tony, you got that great accent. You sign us out, buddy.
Catch you later, Cobber.
I love it. Bye.